The hero's party is at the battle-damaged throne room of the Demon King, and they have the ruler itself cornered. The dark mage of the party, Kai, is thinking about the love of his life, Colette. Seeing the war about to end makes him think of a happy life with her. The leader and hero of the party, Aries, orders Kai to stop the Demon King's movements. A red magic circle is activated by Kai. Out of it are creepy red arms under his spell. These tentacle-like arms bind themselves to the Demon King to restrain them. Kai tells Aries that it is time for him to finish the job. The hero smiles mischievously and rushes for an attack. Without warning, Aries stabs Kai in the back and then stabs the Demon King with him. The hero laughs maniacally that he has slain the Demon King, all while Kai is in front of him, about to die. The weakened Kai asks him why he did this to him. Aries answers that it is because a dark mage class like him is not worthy to be his brother. Johan, the saint of the party, adds that a dark mage like him cannot be labeled as their ally. Kai justifies that he has been using his dark magic to assist them all these times. The magic swordsman, Elsa, laughs hard at his claim that a low class like him has been helpful to them. On the verge of death, Kai remembers the church ceremony when he was granted a special ability when he turned 15. It was the day he received the title of a dark mage and was shunned by society for it. The title is considered the lowest class of all and so is referred to as the loser class. Despite near death, Elisa steps on his head and insults him for being low class. Aries painfully removes his sword from Kai and declares to him that Colette is his to keep now. As Kai screams in terror, he remembers how Colette's father annulled his engagement with the girl. Colette insisted that she loved Kai. The father's only mercy was to let her daughter say goodbye. The girl took off her golden bracelet and gave it to Kai. She was in tears as she told Kai that she was sure they would meet again. Back in the present, Aries can't stop laughing at how his brother looks so pathetic while dying. He whispers to Kai that it was their father who ordered him to kill him. Kai recalls that his father is the captain of the kingdom's strongest knights and the head of the prestigious Austin Marcus family. The man told Kai that he did not need a dark mage in his house. He, however, told his son that he could return to the family if he achieved great deeds and defeat the Demon King. He even told his son that he would arrange for him to be re-engaged with Colette, giving him hope. Shortly after, Colette was held captive in the Holy Castle to maintain the Great Barrier that protected the city. Kai wished to defeat the Demon King for a future where he could free Colette and live a peaceful life with her. He battled many monsters and gained much experience to achieve this wish. Eventually, he attained the max level of 999. Aries sarcastically tells his brother that it is too bad none of his wishes came true. The so-called hero laughs at making up a story that the Demon King killed his brother in a fierce battle. Tears stream down Kai's eyes as he curses his father and brother. Aries tells him to not worry since he will take care of Colette for him. Kai grasps the ground in frustration. He regrets not being able to run away with the love of his life and pursue their happiness above all. As the gem on the golden bracelet breaks, he hears Colette's voice begging him not to die. Suddenly, Kai wakes up in a bed. He is so shocked that he gets up with a cold sweat and panted breath. He did not realize right away that Colette's face was just inches away from his. He gets confused as to why she is not confined. Colette worries that Kai looks scared and pale. The man pats his own body but finds that his wound is gone. Colette looks so lovely as she greets him good morning. Kai looks at Colette with confusion and worry. He wonders why she looks so young when she is supposed to be 20 years old. The girl encourages him to get up since it is an important day for them today. The man laughs and apologizes for being so tired. The bedroom mirror gets Kai's attention and he is shocked to see that he looks younger. Colette tells him with excitement that today is their class granting ceremony. Kai puts his hands on her and asks with desperation what year it is. They are so close to each other that Colette becomes conscious. She pushes him away and tells him with a flustered face that he was too close. Feeling her makes Kai realize that this is not a dream. He notices something on his left hand and is horrified. He gets confused as to why the crest of the Dark Mage is still tattooed on his hand. He thinks about the impossibility of still having the crest if he somehow went back in time. He opens his status window to investigate and finds that his status is exactly the same as when he died. The only difference he sees is the note that states that he has entered a second world loop while retaining his status. The more he investigates, the more he feels confused. He thinks deeply about what magic can pull this off, and he ends up remembering Colette's voice begging him not to die when he was losing consciousness. He is so deep in thought that Colette has to snap him out of it. The golden bracelet suddenly falls from the bed. Colette picks it up and voices how she thought she had lost it. Seeing the broken gem on the bracelet makes Kai remember when Colette promised that they would meet again. It makes him realize that his time loop started when it broke. He ponders the possibility that the bracelet must have been imbued with Colette's saintess power. He starts to laugh, making Colette feel confused. Suddenly, the man embraces her. Tears fall as he tells her he can change the future with his current power. The girl is flustered and confused all at once. All the man can think of is how he can change the future of her being imprisoned and change his fate of being killed. He whispers to her that he will never let her go again. This makes the girl even more red and confused. Kai realizes what he just said and instantly removes his embrace. Colette tells him that it is okay since they are engaged. Realizing she said too much, she does not say more. It makes Kai realize that they are still engaged and worry about what will happen once his father finds out he is a dark mage. He grinds his teeth in anger as he remembers his father calling him filthy for being a dark mage. Colette assures him with a warm smile that she does not see him any differently even if he is a dark mage. Her kindness lights up the man's eyes. He remembers how she was the only one in his past life who loved him despite his being revealed to be a dark mage. He has decided that he will trust only her. The man tells her that he came from the future, 5 years from now, and that he is a dark mage at max level. The girl gets overwhelmed by the claim. Kai knows she needs proof, so he summons dark red energy on his finger and concentrates. He speaks the incantation to summon the Archman. A red-horned monster appears in the room. Colette is overwhelmed, yet Kai continues to talk about how he is only able to subjugate a demon this powerful because his level is high. The man finds relief in knowing he can still use all of his dark magic abilities, and in knowing that the time loop claim is real. He smiles to know that fate gave their love a second chance. However, he knows that he has no time to think of happiness since today is the class-granting ceremony and the day that the Demon King will be born. The huge and devilish-looking Archman is now whole. The sight of it fills Colette with terror. The monster calls Kai his lord and asks for his orders. Colette is lost for words at seeing the gigantic and devilishly-looking Archman. Kai scratches his head in embarrassment and apologizes to the woman for scaring her to prove that he came from the future. Colette assures him that she never doubted him for a second since she trusts him implicitly. Her trust in him makes the guy fall for her even more. There is no doubt in the woman's heart as she proclaims how amazing her beloved is for summoning a creature so powerful. Colette is informed by him that she will be granted the title of saint, while Aries will be granted the title of hero. Kai says that his brother being a hero is the worst-case scenario. He did not realize that Aries was already at the door. Seeing him fills Kai with rage. Kai is already ready to attack with a small and hidden magic circle. Colette can tell, just by looking at Kai, that he is tense. Aries whispers to Colette that he should choose him instead of Kai. It leads Cad to push the man away from his fiancée. He asks that Aries leave right away. Aries is ready to pull out his sword. Colette can tell that Kai is just waiting to fight him. The small magic circle on the ground is just waiting to be used. Both brothers look at each other with anger and disdain. The tension gets interrupted by a servant who appears to call Aries to his father. Aries puts his sword back on its hilt and says he is coming. Colette can see from Kay's face that he is serious about taking his brother down. He asks his fiancée to get some air. As they leave, Aries observes how happy they are together. It fills him with so much envy and rage. The couple takes a walk in the streets of the town. To Kai, seeing everything again is nostalgia. He hears someone call him master, and he is taken aback. It turns out that the town baker just wanted to thank him for getting rid of some thugs the other day. Kai thinks about how people only respect him because they do not know yet that he is a dark mage. Colette compliments him for being admired by everyone, but she sees that he is too deeply troubled to be cheered up by her. They get to an open field where they can continue their conversation. Kai reports that Aries will immediately commit a grave error the moment he is granted the title of hero. He informs her that it is because of him that the demon known as Grise will rise as the Demon King. Within 3 days after the Demon King's rise, the Holy Kingdom will fall. The man looks at the people in peace around him, knowing that they will not be around anymore in the future. He continues to say that the Holy Capital will counter by erecting a golden barrier of light around its city, and that they will imprison Colette to sustain it. Meanwhile, Kai will be exiled from the Austen family for being a dark mage, and they will be torn apart for it. Colette instantly reacts in recoil as she tells her beloved that she wants to be together with him forever. His response is to offer to live together away from it all. The woman blushes as she asks if he means to propose. She is so happy that she hugs him and proclaims that they will be together forever. They hold each other in a tight embrace as Kai says he regrets that he should have done this from the start. He gets a horse and asks that she stay at the remote town of Lux to avoid the war. With sadness, Colette asks if he is not coming with her. Kai replies that he still has the duty of stopping Aries and preventing the birth of the Demon King. Colette voices how she understands that he needs to do this to protect everyone. She waves goodbye and asks him to promise to come get her soon. He answers with a sincere smile that it is a promise. Deep down, he knows that he is not doing this for a noble cause but for himself. The plan is for him to rescue Grise before she becomes the Demon King and befriend the demons. He thinks about the truth he encountered in the party's battle with the Demon King. On the night they conquered the Demon King's castle, Grise accused Aries of killing her friend Sasha. Despite the death of her friend meaning everything, Aries did not even remember what she was on about. Now Kai plans to save Sasha to prevent the birth of the Demon King. His hand glows with dark red energy to ready his mission. His eyes are filled with determination as he proclaims that this is the start of his rebellion. Meanwhile, someone is stepping down a flight of stairs down a dungeon. It is Aries, and in his hands is a whip. In front of him is a very wounded prisoner held in chains. He names this teenage girl with pointy ears Grise, the same person Kai said would be the Demon King. Aries orders Grise to kill Kai. The demon girl finds him disgusting for wanting her to kill his brother. She swears never to follow someone as vile as him. Aries silences her by whipping her flesh. Grise recognizes that the shackles around her hands and feet are sealing her magic. Aries asks her with a threatening tone what she will do if she is under the shackle. He nears the girl and reminds her to know her worth as his slave. The worry of this man that frustrates him so is that Kai is the prophecy hero the saint foretold. The fear is that this would mean his brother's marriage with Colette will be certain. The very thought of it fills him with dread. He goes into a tantrum about how Colette and the hero class rightfully belong to him. He pictures himself as the hero and how this means he is the most powerful class. He dreams of the privilege he will have under the class. The dream of trespassing, stealing, and destroying property however he pleases because it will all be permitted under the hero's privilege. Ares's smile is wide at the thought of himself having such power over everyone. His mouth waters as he imagines himself being able to do whatever he wants with countless women. Picturing Kai being a hero is something he despises. He theorizes that the hero class will be passed down to him if his brother dies before he gets it. Grise calls him trash for planning something so vile simply because he wants women. She receives multiple lashes from Aries because of it. The girl tells him that a proud vampire from the Demon King bloodline like herself will never submit to him. Aries pulls out his sword and readies to slay her. A woman who is also restrained and full of wounds begs for him to stop. Grise calls her Sasha and asks that she stay out of it. Sasha insists that she won't, even if it means disobeying her order. She asks Aries to let her kill Kai in Grise's stead. Suddenly, her face receives a kick from Aries. The man feels insulted that a lowly demon like her is suggesting an idea to him. He takes out a dagger and slices her up on the chest. Her scream makes Grise even more enraged with him. Aries looks at her and smiles. He holds on to Sasha's face and asks how much her maid means to her. Sarcastically, he suggests that her empathy for her friend is an example of a demon trying to act like a human. Aries holds a dagger near Sasha's neck and then cuts her. Seeing how easy it is for him to hurt her terrifies Grise. Aries demands that Grise call him her lord and proclaim that she will obey his orders as his slave. Grise says that she will never do it. Aries then put his blade on Sasha's neck again, making Grise grind her teeth. The man raises his sword, making Grise say she will do it. She opens her mouth with hesitation. Sasha pleads with her lady not to do it for her sake. Grise replies that she will do anything for her. She calls Aries her lord and swears to obey his orders. Before she can say more, Sasha pleads with her not to throw away her pride. Aries feels insulted that she did not continue. He grew tired of their games and planned to just kill them both. He readies to strike with his sword, only to stop as he hears the bars of the cell moving. The bars suddenly get off their hinges, as it is revealed that Kai has come to rescue the girls. The girl tries to see beyond the smoke that Kai created. Grise is shocked to see the man with a dark mage crest on his hand. Aries is shocked to see Kai. He has no time to process it as Kai is already coming at him with a magic-enhanced punch, the impact of which sends him flying until he slams into the wall. The man instantly gets knocked out. Grise and Sasha don't know how to react. Kai approaches them and says that he sees that he made it in time before anything permanent happened. Grise demands to know who he is. Kai recognizes her as Grise and says that she will become the Demon King. The girl is confused about what he means by this. Kai looks at Sasha and also recognizes who she is. Grise asks how he knows who they are. Before he answers, he uses dark magic to cast a healing spell on Sasha, making her levitate within a purple aura. Grise can see that her wounds are slowly disappearing. Kai tells her that he will also heal her injuries. He recognizes that while the girl will be the Demon King, she is just a pitiful girl who is in need of saving right now. A purple light aura also envelops Grise. Suddenly, the shackles on the girls break into pieces. Grise marvels at how both her wounds and the shackles binding her have disappeared. Grise and Sasha approach each other and hug each other to celebrate their freedom. Kai smiles at how happy they look. Sasha admits to her lady that she thought they lost everything when they lost their land to Elsa. Kai asks if the Elsa she means is the red-haired magic swordsman. The women instantly get intense as they think that he might be Elsa's ally. It disgusts Kai to be thought of that way. He explains that Elsa is a demon slaver who holds money above all. With her fame and unmatched skills, she managed to join the hero's party by 17 years old. He professes to the girls that simply thinking about her makes his skin crawl. Grise wants to thank him for saving them, so she asks for his name. He replies that his name is Kai Austin. She realizes that he is Aries' brother and asks why he is helping demons like them. Kai shows them his dark mage mark and says that he has no place within human society. They recognize the mark and now realize why he can use dark magic. They find it strange that he can use high-level dark magic at his age. Kai asks what Aries' goal was for keeping them. Sasha asks her lady if she should answer him. Grise permits her and says that she trusts the man. Sasha tells Kai that his brother wanted to kill him to gain the hero class. The man is shocked to know that Aries has been trying to kill him for so long. Grise is proud to tell him that she refused. She admits that she owes him everything for saving a dear friend of hers. Kai remembers the Demon King version of her in the future. As he sees Fry's happy to be alive with Sasha, he comes to understand how she ended up as a Demon King who hated humanity because of his brother. Kai looks at his unconscious brother. A thick ball of dark magic fills his hand as he thinks of killing Aries. He remembers how he tried to kill him and mocked him for being a dark mage. The thought of it angers him, but then he remembers when they were little kids with Colette. The thought of Colette dominates his mind. It makes him realize that killing him would break her heart. He removes the dark magic from his hand. He thinks deeply about what he will do to him. With great concentration, Kai summons a small creature made of dark red fluid from his forehead. This creature crawls into Aries' mouth. Kai tells the girls that it is a curse. R's face starts to show red markings. Grise asks what curse it was. His only answer is that it is a kind of curse that will make his life miserable. Grise's eyes sparkle at the things Kai can do. Sasha, on the other hand, is becoming more and more intrigued at how he can do one high to the next. It is hard for Kai to explain that he starts scratching his head. His attention gets caught by the girls' dirty clothing, so he suggests that he should do something about it. It leads the girls to be conscious about what they are wearing. The guy summons a magic portal, reaches in, and takes out clothes from it. He suggests that they change somewhere else, so they get out of the dungeon and into a house somewhere. As Kai waits for the girls to change, he can't help but think about how Aries is about to receive the hero class at noon. He worries most of all about the hero's holy sword. Grise suddenly comes out of the dressing room, excited to show Kai her new maid outfit look. She blushes as she tells the man that she has never worn something like it before. Kai tells her that she looks great in it, making the girl blush. She thanks with shyness in her eyes. Sasha also comes out wearing a maid's outfit. The girls become excited talking about their dress, but Kai interrupts them to talk about something serious. They sit down by the fireplace to discuss everything Kai knows. The girls are shocked to hear of his claim that he came from the future where Grise is the Demon King. He also informs them that it was Aries and the hero's party that killed him. He admits with visible despair that this is the reason he can no longer put his trust in humanity. Sasha recollects how powerful he is and thinks that his claim that he came from the future makes sense. Aside from that, she finds his claim that Grise would be the Demon King highly credible. Grise also believes him wholeheartedly since he was the one who saved them. They ask what they should do with this information. Kai proposes that they crush Elsa. Grise is instantly taken by the plan as she remembers how the woman enslaved their people. Kai promises to save her people, making the girl cry in gratitude. In return, Kai asks if he and his fiancée, Colette, live in the territory of the demons. Grise is saddened by the mention of Kai having a partner, but agrees to his terms without hesitation. He informs them that Colette is about to receive the saint class today. Grise recoils, knowing that the Holy Kingdom will pursue a saint if she is taken from them. Kai tells them that they can leave the forces of the Holy Kingdom to him. He is about to tell them more, but tremors suddenly shake the house. Kai takes the girls outside at lightning speed before the house explodes. They see that the house has become nothing but flames. Out of the flames comes Aries with a big scheming smile. He laughs as he sarcastically asks how Kai is. Kai sees from his brother's hand that he already has the crest of the hero. Aries can't stop laughing as he faces his brother. Looking at Kai, he spots that he has the crest of the black mage on his hand. Aries finds it funny that the top candidate to be the hero is actually a black mage, and that he was the one who ended up a hero. He basks in the glow of victory over his brother. Aries then goes on to make sure that he gets revenge for knocking him out earlier. Lightning strikes him as he summons the holy sword known as Durandal. The heavily decorated sword appears in the so-called hero's hands, and it affirms to him that he is the one who stands for justice. The girl gets terrified by the amount of power collected in the sword. Kai, on the other hand, feels great rage, knowing it is the blade that he used to kill him. Aries orders his brother to beg for forgiveness. He is in full confidence that there is no one who can beat him with the overwhelming power of the holy sword by his side. He swears that Kai will regret ever standing against him. Kai has no patience for his words and tells him to just charge at him. Aries feels insulted that a mere black mage like him would stand against him, yet Kai continues to take his fighting stance. Kai's promise is that he will snap his precious holy sword in half and humiliate him. Anger and laughter envelop Aries. He charges at his brother, and he tells him that he will make him regret his words. Kai effortlessly dodges his strikes. He feels regret that such a powerful sword is being wasted by terrible swordsmanship. The frustrated Aries orders him to stop running around. Kai looks at how helpless he is and can tell that he has nothing to fear despite his being a hero. As he continues to dodge attacks, he hears a voice telling him that he has unlocked a hidden class exclusive to those with a second life. The voice names this class Dark Star. Despite Aries doing his best to try and kill him, Kai is busy hearing the voice tell him that he has earned the hidden class because he mastered the Black Age class in his first life. The voice also informs him that Dark Star allows him new skill, and that committing evil deeds accumulates points that can be exchanged for these skills. Just as he thinks that he can't allow himself to commit an evil deed, the voice congratulates him for already committing an evil deed and rewards him with 1,000 points. The voice explains to him that helping demons and opposing the hero is evil. Kai is happy to learn that he does not need to do anything bad to earn points. The voice shows him the list of skills he can attain. His focus shifted to the skill called Demon Sword Summon. Meanwhile, Aries is getting frustrated that his attention is not on his and his barrage of attacks. Kai is so fast that he disappears in front of Aries and reappears behind him before he notices. The Black Mage crest lights up as he calls upon the demon sword known as Trifing. The earth splits, and from the pit comes out the lemon sword, flying to its new master. Kai holds it and recognizes it as the sword Grise carried as the Demon King. He explains that Trifing's power increases in proportion to the wielder's dark magic. Since he is already at max level, he feels it is the perfect weapon for him. The sword feels so powerful to Aries, it is like Kai is casting a shadow over him. Kai looks at him like he is a bug about to be squashed by his boot. Kai tries a fighting stance with his new demon sword. He can tell that it is absorbing his power and so thinks it is a high-maintenance weapon. Grise is shocked to see her father's demonic sword in his hands. Aries hears her and wonders what this means. Kai sees how distracted he is in thought and seizes the opportunity to try and slice him. Aries laughs as he manages to only shave off some hair on his head. His confidence disappears as several houses behind him also get split into two and fall. Kai comments on how he does not know his own strength. Aries complains about the sword's ridiculous power. Kai is still trying to figure out the sword himself and realizes that it is converting his magic into destructive force. Aries then laughs at the realization that he still has the advantage. He explains the elemental opposition between light and darkness and how his darkness will only lead his light energy to double in power. As proof, he shows that Durandal is already brighter than before. Aries promises to show him what his holy sword can do. Kai merely smiles and tells him to bring it on. Aries strikes in with a powerful energy beam. Grise and Sasha see no hope that Kai can dodge it. Despite this, Kai faces the beam head-on. A huge explosion occurs. The smoke clears to reveal that there is nothing left. Grise and Sasha become pale. Meanwhile, Aries laughs at how there is nothing left of his brother. He proclaims that a new era of fame, money, and status is now his for the taking. He even licks his lips at the thought of Colette and many other women being his. Grise is so shaken that his knees drop. Aries notices her and tells her that she should have run when she had the chance. Sasha puts her lady in an embrace as the so-called hero threatens to kill them both. Kai suddenly reappears behind the enemy, putting Aries in shock. Kai recalls how the Holy Sword's magic gets temporarily drained after unleashing a powerful beam. As he charges at Aries, he proclaims that this is the only chance he can damage the Holy Sword and strikes it. The Holy Sword cracks and splits into two. Aries can't believe it. However, he has no time to react as Kai incapacitates him. Kai is panting his breath. He realizes that the demon sword consumes so much power that he can only wield it for 15 minutes. It dawns on him that the sword would have killed him if he were only at level 1. A voice tells him that he has earned 3,000 points for the evil deed of breaking the holy sword and defeating the hero. Grise and Sasha are relieved to see Kai alive and victorious. They approach Aries' body and see that he is still breathing. The girls take notice that the dark energy markings are appearing on his body, and it reaches the hero crest mark on his arm. Kai explains that his curse changes his hero crest into a black mage crest every time he tries to harm someone. As he says it, his crest indeed changes to the black mage symbol. He declares that from this day on, Aries will be known as a fraud pretending to be the hero, and as a result, the honor of the Austen family will crumble. He deems this to be his revenge on his father and family. Kai wants them to get out of the scene as soon as possible, but Grise suddenly approaches him and calls him her lord. She declares him the new demon lord. Kai's eyes widen with shock at the implication. Somewhere in the woods, Colette asks someone how Kai is doing. A creature that looks like a red ball tells her not to worry about him because no one in the world can defeat his master. It is revealed that this creature is small enough to be held by Colette, and that she calls him the same archdemon in her room. The archdemon flies with his little wings, and he tells her that his form right now is only temporary to conceal his identity. His attention is grabbed by the knights coming their way. He asks Colette to hide so that they can't figure out that she is a candidate to be a saint. Colette thinks about Kai and hopes that he comes back soon. Meanwhile, Grise keeps calling Kai the new demon king. Kai asks that she calm down since he is not who she thinks he is. Grise replies that being able to summon the demon sword is undeniable proof of his identity as the demon king. Sasha seconds it and adds that he must be the strongest one in history, considering that he defeated the hero and broke the holy sword. Kai does not know how to get out of this, but then realizes that he can use the title to be accepted by the demons. Grise adds with excitement that they must form a servant pact. Kai does not know what she is talking about, so she explains that the demon king can form pacts with others and grant them a class and significant enhancements. In return, they swear absolute loyalty to the demon king. Kai reviews his skills on his status window to see if he can grant a pact. He sees the skill called Servant Pact. Under it, he sees that he can grant different classes to a potential servant. He now realizes that this is the reason that the demon king's subordinates were ridiculously strong. He continues reading the conditions of the pact and sees that a servant's betrayal of the demon king means their death. It makes him reluctant to use it, but Grise is still determined to go through with it, as she feels duty-bound to swear loyalty to the demon king. She adds that she has no worries because she knows that Kai is a good person. Kai asks them again if they are sure about this. The two girls go down on their knees to be ready for what they consider to be an honor. Kai unlocks the Servant Pact skill and tells Sasha that she will be his demon general. Sasha does not feel like she is worthy of such a title, but Grise assures her that it is suited for someone as loyal as her. Kai asks her what her decision is. She puts on a strong face and replies that it would be an honor for her to serve the Demon King as his loyal demon general. Kai puts his hand on her and bestows upon her the Demon General class. The crest of the Demon General appears on her left hand, and she feels how overflowing power flows within her. Kai marvels at how much power he can bestow. Grise takes her turn to pledge loyalty to him and ask for the power to save her people as one of his 4 heavenly kings. It dawns on Kai how determined her eyes are to follow him despite having the makings of being a demon king herself. He thinks about how he never knew a day would come when he would form a servant pact with a demon king. He puts his hand over her head and bestows upon her the power. In an instant, Grise gets filled with dark magic energy that dwarfs the houses of the city. Kai and Sasha watch on with wide eyes at her awesome power. Grise cheers with excitement for her new life as Kai's servant. However, Kai still can't get over how powerful she is, so he does not see her as his servant at the moment. Both girls hug each other in celebration of their new life with Kai. Kai watches the girls and is satisfied to see how much he has changed everyone's destiny. Suddenly, a group of holy knights comes marching in their way. Leading them is Kai's father, who demands his son to explain what happened. Kai's father, the divine knight Geese, points a sword at his son and demands to know why Aries is on the ground and why he has sided with the demons. Kai informs Grise that he is the leader of the holy knights and that he is his father. Meanwhile, the other knights are looking after Aries and see that he is still breathing. Again, Geese asks Kai what he has been doing. Kai answers that he is a dark mage now and that he will strive to become the demon king. Geese sees the mark of darkness on his hand and realizes everything he just said is true. He screams at his son for losing the pride and heart of justice. Seeing his father talk about justice makes Kai sick. He remembers how many his father has tortured and threatened in the name of justice, and how he even concealed the birth of Grise as the Demon King. He then remembers making a deal with him to restore his Austin name, only to order his exile and execution. It leads him to tell his father that he would rather be evil than support his brand of justice. Geese thinks he has been corrupted by his dark mage class. Kai assures him that he will not be his problem anymore since he has relinquished his connections to the Austin family. He deems himself exiled, then snaps his finger. Suddenly, to the horror of Geese and his men, flames surround them. Every house and structure Geese looks at is a burning inferno. He receives reports from his men that the fire is everywhere. The townspeople run away. Grise asks Kai when he prepared this, so he answers that he already set it up when he was looking for her and made sure that the fire would only be flashy and not create any casualties. A voice congratulates Kai for the evil deed of putting fire on his parents' territory and awards him 500 points for it. Kai feels blessed that his new power is very compatible with his mission of revenge. He sees from his status window that he has gained the skill of Dark Attribute Enhancement. Geese asks him how he can do this. Kai declares to him that the Austin family's perishing is his brand of justice. Geese orders his men to kill him, so they surround him. Kai incapacitated all the knights who tried to attack him in one fell swoop. It is then that Geese charges at him. Kai unleashes his demon sword and crosses blades with his father. Geese recognizes the sword, and it makes him even angrier. As he tries to finish his son off, Kai sees an opening and cuts off his right arm. The old man screams as he sees his arm roll away. One of Geese's men hands his commander his sword back. The Holy Knight leader smiles as he knows that he can easily heal his arm back. He gets shocked realizing that his arm is not growing back. Kai informs him that he used magic that prevents any form of recovery. He recalls how he cast this high-level black mage skill the moment he slashed him. He tells his father that he only stopped the bleeding as a last act of mercy for him. Geese asks how he can use such high-level magic despite only receiving his class. Kai does not answer and instead reminds him that a warrior without a dominant arm is useless in battle. He declares that Geese's justice no longer holds any power. The old man is confused as to why he would do this to his own father. Kai remembers how he split him and Colette apart, as well as when Aries told him that it was their father who wanted him dead. Kai replies that it was he who killed him, but Geese has no idea what he is talking about. A voice awards 500 points to Kai for leaving his father without hope of recovery. Geese then sees the incapacitated Aries nearby and smiles as he gains a new idea. Geese slowly realizes that if Kai did not receive the hero class, then Aries must be the hero that St. Johan prophesied. He feels confident that he can beat Kai together with Hero as long as he is the hero. Geese's knight is nervous as he points at Ares's crest mark. The father is shocked to see that Aries also holds the mark of a dark mage and gets into denial about how St. Johan's prophecies are never wrong. Kai is secretly thinking that he camouflaged Ares' mark of light to that of the mark of darkness. He thinks about how he needs to be ready for Johan because he considers him his most dangerous enemy within the hero's party. He remembers his ability to take a glimpse 7 days into the future and sees that he must be eliminated as soon as possible. Kai looks carefully at his depressed-looking father, and he asks if the mark of the Black Mage means Aries will be exiled. Geese screams out the word no, and he mourns for the glory of the Austin family name. He tells his men not to heal Aries and deems him no longer an Austin. Kai walks away satisfied that Aries has lost his noble status because of his trickery. He tells his father that he will leave him to his sadness. Geese asks him if he truly wants to side with the demons. Kai answers that he will because he considers them more trustworthy than humans. He then thinks about Colette and how she is the only human he trusts. He looks at Grise and Sasha and sees them to be more noble than the human race. He remembers how much they love each other when they celebrated their freedom in the dungeon. To make sure it is over, he tells his father his final goodbye. He and the girls pass the city gate, where the gatekeeper asks him what's going on inside. Kai tells him that there is nothing important, and then orders him to kill anyone who pursues him. The gatekeeper is hesitant but says he will follow his order. The gatekeeper sees Kai and the girls instantly disappear in front of him. The three reappear at a lake. The girls see that the destroyed city is already in the distant background. Grise praises Kai for showing his father no mercy and then asks if they will be going to the demon territory next. Kai replies that he would like to go to Lux Village first to pick up Colette. He then gets the idea to strengthen the two girls before the journey. He points his hand towards the girls to lend them ability enhancements. The girl feels a warm power flowing inside them. Kai explains that he can share the skills he acquired with his subordinates without them disappearing from his person. The girls' bodies get overwhelmed by the feeling of the power that he apologizes to them. They sit down on rocks to rest up. There, Kai takes out Colette's golden bracelet and continues to wonder if this is the object that gave him his second life. He gets the idea to use the skill of item appraisal, and it informs him that the bracelet was imbued with the power of the Saint of Time. He is thankful to confirm that it was due to Colette that he gained a second chance. He remembers her giving it to him and then promising to meet again. Kai feels the victory of already changing the future and how he has taken more steps to be happy together with her. He then focuses on how the appraisal said that Colette is a Saint of Time and wonders if this means the girl also graduated from a hidden class like him. Grise catches him in deep thought and asks what is wrong. It makes Kai refocus on leaving. His eyes show determination to get to Colette. Elsewhere, a holy knight messenger kneels before Johan. Johan smiles now that he has information on where Colette is. Mysteriously, he calls her the Saint of Time. Johan and his squad of holy knights have restrained and tied up the people of Lux village. Each of the townsfolk is threatened with a word while Johan interrogates them. After grasping Colette's location from all their testimony, Johan announces his questioning is over. As if he didn't just threaten their lives, he politely thanks them all for their help. He orders his men to use forgetting magic on the people. One tied up man objects to the spell since it is known to drive people mad. Johan has no patience for his complaints and so orders for him to be killed instead. He goes to the other captured and asks if there are any of them who object to forgetting magic. None of them speaks up, so Johan keeps smiling that no one else is going against him. Later in the woods, Colette is being chased by two holy knights. Johan leads them as he preaches about how all the church has been doing is so that they can be saved. He thinks about his goal of attaining the power of the second loop and how he found out with his prophecy skill that he needs the Saint of Time to attain it. One of the men asks why the saint is running away from them, so Johan tells him that it might be because it is nighttime and that Colette has mistaken them for thieves. He wonders if she is running because she already has a hint of his plans for her. Eventually, Colette, with the archimate in chibi form, gets cornered by the holy knights. Johan bows with insincere respect towards Colette. Seeing her and the mark of the time saint on her hand makes him feel like everything is going his way. He tells her that a prophecy has revealed to him that a demon king will be born, so they need her power as a saint to protect the capital by erecting the Great Barrier. Colette informs everybody that the birth of the demon king has already been stopped by Kai. She tries to reason that half of the human population should have been killed by now according to the prophecy. Yet if it did not happen, it must be because Kai stopped it. The confused Johan asks her how she knows of his prophecy. The girl replies that she heard it from Kai and that he knows of it because he came 5 years from the future. Johan laughs, realizing that Kai is a witness to the second loop. He paints Kai as a monster by informing Colette that her fiancé used his dark magic to nearly kill his brother and set fire to the Austin territory before escaping. Colette believes that he is lying, but Johan replies that his prophecy also showed him that Kai is the demon king. He orders his men to capture her for siding with the demon king. Johan thinks about how he needs to take Colette as a hostage to lure Kai to him and take information from him. With the time saint on his side, he sees the day he rules the world to be near. The archdemon suddenly transforms into his monstrous form, scaring the holy knights. The creature scratches one of them with its gigantic claws. Johan gets so taken aback that he falls to the ground. Colette tells the villain that she has realized that Kai's claim that Johan is the source of the church's corruption is true. She orders him to repent, and he apologizes immediately. The archdemon thinks he is lying and would rather just kill him. The ever-compassionate Colette orders him to stand down. Johan is on his knees, explaining to Colette that the Pope was the one who ordered him to capture her, and that he does not see the need for it anymore if the Demon King's birth has been stopped. He swears to his god that he is telling the truth. Colette believes him and orders everyone to drop their weapons. Johan orders his men to bring him the one wounded earlier. Colette volunteers to heal him, but Johan insists that he do it instead. He pulls out a bottle of healing potion and feeds it to the wounded man. Johan smiles and sarcastically praises Colette for being a sweet woman. The archdemon readies a finishing blow on the wounded man to get ready for whatever the villain is planning. Meanwhile, the wounded man is screaming in pain. After a second, his body transforms into a hulking brute strong enough to block the archdemon's punch on him. Johan announces that his level booster can bring anyone to over level 800. The archdemon faces the newly muscled brute, and Johan sees that Colette is left unprotected. He casts an arrow made of light on her. The holy light arrow heads for Colette, but the archdemon gets in front of her and takes the damage. Colette worries for her friend. It does not stop the demon's suffering as it continues to scream out its pain. Johan sees the demon's sacrifice as a weakness unbefitting for a higher demon like itself. The Holy Knight meditates to activate their enhancements for battle. The question is whether what they are about to do is the right thing, but they still charge for an attack. They wound the dawn all over its body, causing him further pain. Colette tells Johan that he needs to be ashamed to be called a saint because of how cowardly his tactics are. Johan replies that everything he does is good because he was the one entrusted by God to be the epitome of good and justice. The archdemon thinks he is scum for thinking so. Despite being already weak, the demon still thinks of Colette and urges her to run away. He turns into dust as Colette looks at what's happening to him in horror. The hulking man feels empowered by his victory over the archdemon. His proud moment gets cut short as he feels intense pain all over his body. He keeps screaming about how much it hurts. He begs for his lord Johan to be healed by him. Instead of taking pity on him, Johan orders him to stay away from him. It is Colette who approaches and heals him instead. This leads the man to instantly cry in guilt for what he has just done to her. Despite her attempt, the man still dies. Johan's only reaction is to voice out how he made Colette all filthy. Colette asks if he knew his potion would do this to him. The man replies that no matter how many experiments he did, the effects on the drinkers kept staying the same. Colette cries for the dead man and calls Johan the true demon humanity should oppose. Johan approaches her for the power play of comforting her. He then tells his men that having the Demon King's subordinate as her bodyguard proves that Colette has been corrupted. It justifies him putting golden chains of light on Colette to restrain her. Johan warns the woman that every time she voices her support for the Demon King, her chains tighten. She insists that Kai is not the Demon King. Johan relishes how her love for Kai will only put her in more suffering as the chains tighten around her. Colette is filled with tears as she thinks about her love. One of the knights asks Johan to be less cruel since the lady showed mercy to them. This insults the villain, who kills the complainer with a light beam to the forehead. Colette can't believe how cruel Johan is, even to his own men. Johan makes a speech about how everything he does is good because he has been chosen with the title of saint. The chains tighten around Colette, but all she can think about is how she failed Kai by being captured. Johan is getting excited at what the Demon King will do now that he has Colette in his hands. Elsewhere, Kai is looking at the sky, wondering if his beloved is safe. He returns to the cabin he stays in with the demon girls. He sees that the girls have cooked their dinner and comments on how amazing it smells. Just as he gets excited to begin eating, Kai's crest of darkness begins to hurt, making him drop the firewood from his hands. He realizes that what he is feeling is the Archdemon's power returning to him, making him fear that something bad must have happened. He speaks with the Archdemon telepathically and orders him to tell him what happened. The demon reports that Colette has been abducted, sending Kai into a panic. Grise and Sasha are in the cabin and are cooking dinner using the meat Kai hunted for them. Knowing this leads Grise to talk about how great of a hunter her master is non-stop. She recalls how she was being mentored him when they were trying to catch rabbits. She thinks it was incredible that he caught a rabbit instantly that moment. Sasha notices how happy Grise gets every time she talks about Kai. She laughs at her for it, leaving Grise confused. It was then that Kai entered the cabin and dropped his firewood. He reports to the girls that Colette has been taken. He tells them that the Archdemon guarding her was defeated. Grise finds it impossible for an Archdemon to be defeated unless it faces an army. Kai worries that Colette is now completely alone. The Archdemon apologizes to his master and says that it was Johan and his holy knights that captured Colette. He also reports that Johan called Kai the witness of the second life. This shocks the mage, because he has no idea how Johan could have known this. He realizes that he should have thought about the possibility of finding out through his prophecy skill. He realizes that Johan knew Colette had time powers all along in his first life, and made it a priority to force her to create the barrier that protected the capital. He wonders what his goal is and if he wants to go back to the past. The Archdemon continues to report that Johan claimed that Kai is the Demon King, and that he also put Colette in holy restraints to strip her of her free will. Kai imagines the horror of his beloved being enslaved in the holy chains and is horrified. He calms himself and tells the Archdemon to take a rest. Grise sees that Kai is not moving, so she asks if he is okay. The man trembles in rage as he thinks about how he will never forgive Johan and the church. He swears that they will get a fate worse than death. Grise slaps him on the back with a hand enhanced with black magic to snap him out of his serious trail of thoughts. The girl tells him not to lift the world on his shoulders alone and to realize that he has her and Sasha to ease his burden. The girls go on to say that they can rescue Colette together. Kai reviews how he once considered the demons. He thanks both of them for being willing to help him. He marvels at how he now considers the demons as his allies. They talk about what they need to plan, so Kai tells them that a powerful barrier will soon cover the holy capital and that breaking through it is nearly impossible. He even says that even Grise at her strongest in the future could not penetrate it in her multiple tries. The girls ask him what the plan is, so he says that they need to send an informant inside the capital. He explains that the barrier is strengthened by sacred artifacts within the castle and that they should send the informant inside to destroy them. The girls can't imagine anyone working for them. Kai smiles, making Grise realize that he has already thought this through. He answers that he already has, but that breaking the barrier would not be enough if there are only 3 of them to attack the holy capital. He suggests that they first must reclaim Grise's demon territory. Grise protests since they need to save Colette first, but Kai assures her that they need to do it first for their plan to work. Kai thinks about how Johan has just created a demon king even more terrifying than Grise in the future. A dagger is suddenly thrown at Kai from the window that he manages to dodge. A person with a face hidden in a white hood and blades for weapons enters the cabin. This mystery visitor asks if Kai is the demon king. It is revealed that there are many hooded enemies entering the cabin, and they introduce themselves as the purifiers while charging for an attack. Kai tells the girls as he avoids the purifiers' attacks that they are the church's hidden side that eliminates people in the shadows. One of the enemies throws daggers at him. The man is so busy dodging the attacks of one purifier that he fails to try to avoid the daggers. Luckily, Sasha comes in front of her master and blocks the daggers with a plate. Grise also assists him by kicking one purifier out of the cabin. Despite being surrounded and outnumbered, the trio are confident they can take the villains on. Kai remembers having a hard time facing purifiers in his previous life. As he declares that he is much stronger now, he releases explosive dark magic energy that repels the purifiers. He also acknowledges that he now has allies. Sasha throws plates at purifiers while kicking them in midair to make them stronger. The plates hit the purifier with enough power to knock them out. Meanwhile, Grise releases a glowing red liquid and then manipulates it to become a whip that hits all the purifiers surrounding her. Kai is impressed by how they can fight the purifiers so easily, but still advises Grise to not let their guard down and treat them like they are forest rabbits. Grise does not know what he is talking about until she remembers when they were hunting for rabbits and Kai told her that rabbits usually hide in the shadows of trees when cornered. His teachings led them to a rabbit hiding behind a tree. Grise smiles at the memory and then alerts herself. Meanwhile, there are purifiers hiding in the bushes waiting for the chance to ambush her. Grise closes her eyes and concentrates on her hearing. The purifier sees an opening and charges at her. They do not realize the glowing red fluid on the ground where they are running. It suddenly turns into stakes that eliminate all of them. The stakes with hanging bodies are even taller than the trees. Grise thinks it is only natural she was successful because she put Kai's teachings to heart. The girls feel so much stronger, and they thank their new contracts with Kai. Kai recognizes that they are right but also acknowledges that their natural abilities did a lot to help. Sasha shows him that he captured one of them. Kai offers the man to make a contract with him and become his familiar. Grise opposes this, but Kai signals her to step back. The captive says that someone like him who swears their allegiance to the church would never ally with him. Since he said no, Kai orders Grise to turn him into an undead using her vampire powers instead. The captive imagines himself as an undead creature and is more horrified by the possibility. Kai asks in his name, so the man answers that he is Mithil. Kai reminds Mithil that if he becomes his familiar, then he will die if he ever betrays him. He puts his hand over Mithil's head and gives him the class of Demon Commander. The purifier suddenly feels overflowing power within him. Grise asks Kai again why he made a human and an enemy his familiar. He answers that he will be their informant in the holy capital. Grise takes back her objection and gets excited instead for him to tell her his plan. Kai turns to Mithil again and orders him to tell Johan that the Demon King possesses an item that is essential for the second life cycle and that the saint needs to head south to get it. Kai then says that his plan is to gather more informants within the enemy ranks by turning more into his familiars, and then using them to break the holy capital barrier when the time comes. Grise is impressed by his strategic mind, convincing her once and for all that he is truly the strongest demon king. A voice informs Kai that he is awarded points for defeating the purifiers and turning one into his informant. Kai thinks about how many allies and resources he can get all in the name of rescuing Colette. Sasha suddenly shouts as she sees a demon with sheep-like features covered in wounds on the ground. Grise asks him what happened, so the sheep tells them that he ran with the others when the demon territory was lost. He continues to say, as he struggles to speak, the name of Elsa. Kai, Grise, and Sasha were on their way to the demon kingdom when they rested up in a town. The sheep demon thanks the trio for saving him, as he is healthy now because of their help. Grise swears to him that she will never let any of her people die. The sheep bows to her out of respect. He mourns how their land is now at the hands of Elsa and her faction and asks that they be careful. The trio heads to a tavern where men are drinking while talking about how easy it was for them to raid a place. While it catches Kai's and the others' ears, it is their talk about how Elsa will be given the title of being a noble soon that really angers them. Kai calms down Grise, knowing that this is an opportunity to get information on Elsa's faction. The waiter serves Grise some rice omelette, making her forget about her mood as her focus turns to her dinner. Meanwhile, Sasha pours her lady a glass of wine. The girl's beauty catches men's attention. One of them comes over to the trio's table and asks Sasha to pour a drink for him too. Sasha refuses, but the man shows his entitlement to be served by revealing that he is one of Elsa's vanguards. Meanwhile, Grise is excited to begin eating her omelette. The vanguard feels insulted that she is not paying attention to him, so he knocks their table down. The vanguard's pals are laughing while he bullies, unlike the crowd, who are horrified by what is about to happen. Grise sees her omelette ruined on the floor and gets angry at the bully. The vanguard tells Kai that she will be taking his demon girls from him. Kai calmly tells the man to stop. The man sees his black mage crest and deems him bold enough to stand up to him. Kai orders him to pay for the omelette, so the man readies his metal-spiked knuckles for a fight. He praises Kai's bravery for not running away the moment he sees his knuckle. Kai just calmly says that all he wants is to ask questions, but the man still punches him. His punch makes an explosion that makes him confident that he won. However, he suddenly experiences pain and gets incapacitated. His condition makes Kai wonder if he overdid it. The crowd is stunned, as well as the others of Elsa's underlings. Kai faces the underlings and demands that they answer all his questions. He continues to tell them that a dark mage has many torture spells, forcing the horrified men to say that they will tell him everything. They head outside, where the men tell Kai all about how Elsa is using demons for slaves. Kai then heads back inside with a big smile on his face and a bag full of the underlings' money to buy everyone drinks. The crowd cheers as they raise their glasses of beer. Kai tells the girls that he does not want Elsa to know about this event, so he will take advantage of everyone being drunk so they can be more susceptible to his high-level harmless memory-erasing spell. Meanwhile, Elsa's underlings are tied up outside, crying over the money they lost. The girls cheer as they have leftover money to get themselves new clothes. Kai finds that this is a good idea since their made clothes attract too much attention. Meanwhile, there is a hooded woman with glasses among the crowd, quietly observing the trio. A battalion of holy knights marches to the town where Kai and the girls rest. They stop only to question Elsa's underlings. The old commander of the knights shows the underlings a magical image of Kai and asks if they have seen him. The leader of the underlings takes a good look at the image but still reports that he did not see anyone like him. Meanwhile, Kai, Sasha, and Grise are at the nearby hill and are observing the knights. Sasha counts that their numbers are 300 in total and that they are likely the elite Templar knights. Kai sees that the enemies are acting so quickly when it was just a day ago that they sent purifiers after them. He ponders what Johan is planning if he is mobilizing the entire church to catch him. He also thinks about what he will do to the knights once he finds out that they have hurt Colette. He faces Grise and Sasha and orders them to kill all the knights. The girls face their master without a look of hesitation. Kai then continues to say that they must do it without damaging their bodies. They are confused as to why he wants them to hold back when their enemies are large in number and have light attributes to protect them from their black magic. Kai voices his confidence that the two of them are so strong that they can do it easily. The two look hesitant but say that they trust him. With everything planned, he orders them to begin. Kai then hears a rustle in the bushes but chooses to ignore it. The battalion of holy knights is leaving with huge smiles on their faces as they carry so many bags of money they looted from the town. The commander then sees a silhouette of a person in the distance. Looking closely, he realizes that it is their target, Kai. The commander and his soldiers take arms while accusing Kai of the arrogance of appearing before them. Kai asks if Colette is safe, but the commander tells him that they have no business telling him anything and that she will live and die as the church pleases. This leads Kai to deem him as scum. Suddenly, there is an explosion at the rear of the battalion. It turns out Sasha and Grise have made their attack and are making knights fall, one by one. The commander is stunned to see elites taken down so easily. After a while, Sasha puts her blade on the commander and tells Kai that she has the last knight standing. Kai ponders if he should not kill him right away, considering he is a commander. The commander looks at him in fear as he realizes that he has thought of a use for him. Meanwhile, Grise announces that they managed to gather all the corpses of the knights and that they are in perfect condition, just like he wanted. They looked around the knights' belongings and found many looted goods. Kai looks at the corpses and sees the perfect opportunity to test out a spell. Grise asks what they should do with the bodies. The girls get stunned as their master replies that he will turn them into his allies. He summons a magic circle to activate a spell society considered a rebellion against God. The magic circle on the ground is wide enough to envelop a small town. Slowly, the red light of the circle merges with the pile of bodies. After a second, all of the knights rise again as mindless undead with red glowing eyes. Grise can hardly believe how large her master's necromancy can encompass. The commander falls to the ground after seeing his former men surround him with a glare of glowing red eyes. Kai dubs them his unbeatable army of elite knights. The scared commander deems this an unforgivable act against God. Kai finds insult in his comment. He thinks about how his god did nothing when Colette and he got separated, and tells him instead that it is he who will not forgive God. To the commander, he looks like the devil himself. Kai asks the commander what his name is and lets him choose if he wants to be a subordinate of the Demon King or an undead. A voice congratulates and awards Kai points for defeating an army of holy knights and making their commander defect. The Archdemon appears in his small form to tell Kai that he has defeated the scouts, so Johan will not hear about this. The Archdemon also asks his master what they should do about the other matter. Kai looks at the bushes behind him and says they need to take care of it too. Meanwhile, in the bushes is a hooded figure keeping an eye on the group. Aries is in the middle of the woods with a wounded eye, complaining about the bad luck he has been having recently. He blames his brother Kai for all of it just before his knees give out and he falls to the floor. Meanwhile, a chariot passes him by and stops when the people inside see him. Later that night, Aries is taken to a mansion, where the lady of the house gives him as much food as his heart desires. The lady says that she is glad to see him safe and is honored to meet the hero. She asks what happened to him. Aries remembers 3 days ago when he tried to enter the Austen family estate. He demands that the guards let him in as the second son of the Austen family. He shows them his hero crest, but the guards still do not believe him and ask that he show the holy sword instead. Aries tells him that it was broken, making the guard believe him even less. Frustrated, Aries tries to punch the guard. The guard blocks it and sees that his hand crest turned into the symbol of the Black Mage. Aries looks at his hand and gets confused why it has changed. One of the guards orders the others to beat him up for impersonating the hero. It leads the others to ready their weapons. One of the guards smiles at the opportunity to beat up his former master for being a terrible person to him in the past. Aries tries to explain, but they do not listen and beat him up. After doing so, they tell him to never show his face at the estate again. Back in the present, Aries is still angry about what happened and swears revenge. He tells the lady of the house that what happened to him is none of her business. Instead of finding him rude, the lady apologizes for asking instead. The so-called hero takes a look at the lady and realizes that she is actually very beautiful. She tells him that she will rest now and permits him to be free to relax while he is in her house. Aries smiles mischievously as if he is up to something. The woman also asks her old butler to look after the hero while she rests. The moment the woman leaves, Aries orders the butler to bring him all the money in the mansion. The butler stands and asks what he means. Aries just reminds him that anyone who does not cooperate with the hero will be executed. The butler complains that what he is doing is robbery. Aries checks his hand and is assured to see that it is still the crest of the hero. He smiles at the thought of being able to do whatever he pleases from now on. He then orders to bring him the prettiest woman he can find. The butler accuses him of not really being the hero and orders the guards to remove him. A guard responds that he will do so proudly. He goes face to face with Aries, who would not budge. The vile young man reminds the guard that defying the hero is a crime that will lead his entire family to be executed. The guard gets so scared that he says and does nothing to him. Aries laughs as he orders everyone to bring the money and line up the women. After a while, 3 heavy bags of money are presented to him. The lady of the house appears and asks what is going on. She is shocked to see that his butler, maids, and guard have given the hero her money. The ashamed butler pleads with his mistress to return to her room. Aries pushes him out of the way and demands that the lady accompany him in the bedroom. The lady protests, but Aries shows him the mark of the hero again to remind her what the consequences would be if she defies him. She gets shocked to see that his emblem is the mark of the Black Mage instead. Aries gets confused as he looks at his hand crest again. The people glare at him with grudging anger. The guards go after him while he runs away. As he runs, Aries shouts out that he is the hero. He finds himself outside at night, filled with wounds again. There is no guilt, only anger that his crest keeps changing. The plan he can think of right now is to travel to places where people don't know his situation. Elsewhere, a crowd is looking at a wanted poster on a wall. They recognize the picture to be Aries and know him as the second son of the Austen family. Looking closely, the poster says that there is a bounty for his capture, dead or alive. Back to Kai and the girls, the hooded figure continues to spy on them while hiding in the bushes near them. It is revealed to be the hooded girl with the glasses at the tavern, and she is astounded at how Kai and the girls can beat an army of holy knights like they were nothing. Grise then sneaks up behind the girl and asks why she has been following them. The demon princess asks if she is a member of the Holy Church and then threatens to hurt her depending on her answer. Kai orders her to stop it since he senses no malice from their stalker after keeping an eye on her for a while. The girl is surprised that he noticed her. Kai says that he has seen her since the tavern and that he knows she is a demon. The girl removes her hood to reveal that she has cat ears on her head. Grise apologizes for scaring her and asks again why she followed them. She introduces herself as Merl from the cat tribe and asks the trio if they are chasing after Elsa. Once they say they are, she tells them that Elsa has captured her sister and she wants them to save her. Grise is all ears, and she asks to tell them more about it. Elsewhere, there is an underground mine known as the Mithil mine in the former Demon Kingdom territory. There, many demons of different appearances are being forced to mine for Mithil while being whipped by Holy Knight guards. The gang sneaks into the mine to see how torturous the conditions of the demons are. Merl tells them that many demons were buried alive the day the mine collapsed, but that it gave her the opportunity to be able to escape with no one the wiser. She tells them that the overseer of the mines is Edgar. Kai realizes that as the overseer, Edgar must be a high-ranking subordinate of Elsa, so he asks if Merl can tell them anything about him. She reports that the man has a glass of Grand Mage. They fear that this will be a problem since Grand Mage is considered one of the strongest magic-based classes. Sasha returns from her patrol and looks exhausted. She said that she was spotted by the enemy and needed to use her magic energy as a result. Kai is glad he is safe, but is worried that she spent too much magic energy from all the battles. He reviews his status window to search for a suitable skill that can heal her. He finds the skill designed to steal magic energy from others and thinks it is the best he can do. He puts his hand near Sasha's face to give him the skill called MP Drain. He explains to her that she has given her a skill that will transfer his magic energy to her. She protests at the idea of taking magic from him, but he explains that while MP Drain can take magic energy away, the caster can also get magic from allies without taking any from them. He further elaborates that he gave her the ability for recovery and strategy. Although secretly, he also gave it for a third purpose. Sasha says she understands and then uses the new ability on her master. The girl feels her energy being restored. Kai is glad to see her healthy again. He asks how her patrol went. She answers that she spotted a caravan on the road near the mine and that it was full of caged demons. She had the impression that they were being transported as slaves. The suffering of her people gets to Grise, but Merl asks that they wait. She warns them that the caravan might be Edgar's, so they can't attack without thinking. Grise holds her by the shoulders to calm her and assures her that her Lord Kai is someone she can rely on. He then tells her that she swears to save her sister in the name of her former title as heir to the Demon King. Merl feels assured by her and then pauses in shock that she just implied that she is Princess Grise. Kai announces that their new mission is to save the prisoners. The man then holds Grise's shoulder and also gives her the MP Drain skill. Now he feels like they are ready to face the Grand Mage. He believes this is the opportunity to gain allies for rescuing Colette. Meanwhile, a caravan is traveling by the mountainside road. Instead of a horse, what is pulling the vehicle is a teen girl with the same cat ears as Merl. Despite how much she is struggling, the driver screams at her for being so slow. The cat girl continues to pull the carriage until she falls. The driver is revealed to be Edgar, and he threatens to zap the girl with his magic if she does not continue pulling. The girl does not listen and instead tries to catch her breath. The bully zaps her with electricity magic, putting the girl in agony. She falls again while her body produces smoke. Edgar threatens to sell her sister if they don't arrive at their destination by nightfall. The girl says she will continue but begs not to sell her sister. She moves the carriage again with all the strength she has left. It makes Edgar smile that she does not know that her sister probably died in the mine collapse. A man inside the carriage tells Edgar to be careful. The man inside, named Walter, says that they need to watch out for the Demon King since he and his companions attack. Edgar thinks his concerns are pointless since no one is stupid enough to attack people like them in Elsa's faction. Aside from that, he has confidence in the unbeatable barrier he put around their vehicle. Walter sees that he will not listen and groans in frustration. After a while, the cat girl is slowing down again, so Edgar threatens to zap her again. He is then surprised to see that the magic energy he collected on his finger disappeared. He tries to make it reappear but finds all his attempts useless. One of the men inside the carriage asks Edgar what happened to the barrier he erected. It makes Edgar panic and become alert to his surroundings. Walter goes outside as he senses something strong coming. Suddenly the carriage trembles. The carriage takes a sudden stop, making Edgar slam into a nearby tree. He looks and sees that Sasha is at the rear of the caravan and has stopped the carriage by simply holding onto it with one hand. Edgar fears how powerful she seems and curses the timing that they can't use magic. His men also report to him that all their magic has been drained too. Suddenly, Grise frees the cat girl from her restraints. The demon princess is relieved to see that their plan is going well. Just as Edgar worries there are more attackers, Kai appears. Edgar demands that his men stop them, but all of them say that they can't do anything without magic. It makes Edgar realize that Walter is the only one who can protect them. Walter approaches Sasha with his gigantic sword and apologizes for what he is about to do. He is so fast that Sasha barely dodged his first strike. She is left off balance from her dodge, so Walter finds the opening to hit her. His blade gets inches away from her, only for Kai to block this sword with his demon sword. Walter is impressed that he is strong enough to stop his strike, and then is surprised to realize that he is holding the demon sword. Edgar is getting frustrated and orders Walter to kill Kai quickly. Before he can say more, Grise's whip strangles his neck. The demon princess orders Edgar to stand down. Walter drops his sword and raises his hands as a sign of surrender. Kai then approaches Edgar, leaving the villain to grovel for his life. Kai tells him that he will not be his judge, but that he will leave the demons he captured to decide his fate. The caged demons glare at Edgar, so the scared villain asks that they show him mercy because he has shown them kindness. The more he speaks about how he has taken care of them every night, the more the women from the enslaved get enraged. They answer Kai that they want their captor to experience death, making Edgar pale. Kai says that it has been decided, making Edgar regret that he does not have long. A skeleton creature, burning with dark magic, appears behind the pale Edgar to take him. The lifeless Edgar drops to the floor, then the skeleton creature disappears. Grise is excited about how much her master's plan worked so well, but Kai tells her that it is all thanks to her and Sasha. We rewind to the time when Kai just gave Grise his ability to drain magic energy. Kai tells everyone that they can't fight a grand mage head-on, so they need to use their magic draining skills instead. While Grise is instantly smitten with the plan, Sasha is concerned that it would take them too long to drain a grand mage's power. Kai is not worried and tells them the rest of the plan. When Edgar's caravan arrives their way, the three absorb his energy all at once from a distance. It is then that Edgar notices that he can no longer use magic. Grise laughs hard at remembering Edgar's confused face. Kai tells his girls that they can't lose as long as he has them on his side. Deep down, Kai is not confident yet that they can beat Johan with their current power and hopes to gain more strength. He orders the others to free the demons from their cage. Eventually, they free them all. They see, however, that they all look exhausted. Meanwhile, the tied-up men are secretly talking about escaping. They lose hope, knowing that while they can free themselves from their ropes, they know that they will just get captured again. Merl suddenly appears from behind the boulder just beside the tied-up men. One of the men smiles as he gets an idea. Meanwhile, Kai is healing all the demons they rescue with his magic. He looks among them to see which of them are strong enough to be allies to rescue Colette. Merl appears to the group, glad to see that Kai and the others are safe. Her sister sees her and is glad to see her. Suddenly, the men escape from their ropes and grab Merl from behind. The villainous men smile as they now have the advantage. Just as one of the men demands to be let go, Merl's sister, Melty, strikes him with her claws before he can react. The other escaped man then uses his magic to shoot at the cat girl with projectile rocks. She dodges all of them effortlessly. She then dashes at him at bullet speed and takes him out too. Kai realizes that he has found a strong demon. As Melty catches her breath, her sister hugs her. They cry and smile as they continue their embrace. They both thank Kai for everything he has done for them. He asks that they thank Grise instead. Grise objects as she reminds him that this is his opportunity to show them he is their new demon king. Kai takes in her words and realizes she is right. He addresses everyone and tells them all about how the Holy Church considers the darkness attribute and demons as evil. He tells them of their lies about demons being unfeeling monsters incapable of lies. However, he says he disagrees and that it is they who are more capable of love than humans ever could. Kai continues to tell them of his plans to create an ideal nation in the demon realm where darkness attribute beings and demons can live without discrimination under his rule as a demon king. Even the tied-up Walter is intrigued by his plan. Kai continues that his first step is to retrieve the Mithil mine. All of those who are listening are all ears to the things he is saying. The man invites everyone to take up arms and retrieve their demon kingdom. The demon roars with adrenaline-filled cheer. Meanwhile, Walter is just as stunned, if not more so, than the others. On the other hand, Grise can't stop crying at his vision. She tells Sasha not to pay her any mind since she is just happy. Kai then puts his attention on Walter. The tied-up man tells him that he will accept any punishment and that all he asks is for him to be quick about it. Before Kai tells him what he has decided, Melty comes in front of Walter and asks that Kai listen to her first. She asks her new lord for the man's life to be spared. Kai asks Melty why she is defending Walter when he was one of her slavers. She reveals that he secretly helped them by giving them food when they were starving and treating their wounds. She continues to say that he protected them from Edgar's cruelty every now and then. Kai asks Walter why a human like him protected demons. He answers that he took pity on them because they are oppressed for simply being born. He finds it disgusting when no one chooses how they are born. Kai asks if his class is a dark knight. The man confirms it by saying he despises his own attribute because it makes it difficult to rise within the holy knights. It made him feel like he could have done more to save someone precious to him if he had risen the ranks quickly. He remembers a commanding officer telling him he could never be a holy knight despite his strength because of his darkness attribute. The officer laughed at Walter for being unable to save the woman he loved from dying because he was too hated for him to do anything about it. In anger, Walter cursed him. Kai asks who this precious person he speaks of is. He answers that he is talking about his fiancée, reminding Kai of Colette. He realizes that the man is in the same situation as him. He asks Walter if he wants to serve under him. Walter asks if he wants him to betray Elsa, but Kai corrects him and says he wants him to betray the entire Holy Kingdom. Walter remembers Kai's speech, and he longs for his dream of a nation with no discrimination for dark attributes and demons. He agrees, so Kai releases him from his ropes. The Dark Knight goes to his knees and pledges his loyalty to the Demon King. Melty is glad and expects Walter to be a strong asset for Kai. She is surprised as Kai reveals he wants her to be one of his subordinates. He asks for her help in retrieving the Mithil mine. He announces that he will use the subordinate demon contract to enhance their strength. Melty gladly accepts the offer. Using the contract spell, he readies to make Melty a demon captain and Walter a demon general. Kai asks if his new allies are ready. Both Melty and Walter reply that they are prepared for anything as long as it is for saving lives and for their demon king. With their pledge, Kai finalizes the contract. Elsewhere, the Mithil mine fortress is a stronghold filled with many knights on guard. Walter arrives to ask for the knight to open their gates, all while Melty plays the part of the slave pulling their carriage. They ask Walter what is wrong, but he does not answer and only shows urgency by saying they need to hurry to open the gate. The commander thinks about it for a moment and then orders his men to open the gate. Walter and Melty look serious as the giant gate slowly opens. After they enter, the commander orders Walter to stop. Inside the carriage, Kai and the others tense up. The commander asks where Edgar is, but Walter stays silent. The commander finds him suspicious, so he orders his men to search inside the carriage. A knight opens the door, only to be surprised that Kai, Grise, and Sasha are inside. Kai orders them to begin their operation. The man who opened the door is suddenly sent flying. The commander realizes Walter's betrayal and orders his men into battle positions. The knights come marching in with weapons. The commander orders his men to kill them all, only for Walter to kill him with his sword with one strike. The men are shocked to see their commander be taken out so easily. Walter tells his demon king that he and Sasha will handle the knights while he and the others go ahead to free the prisoners. Kai says he will leave it to him and then runs towards the prison with Melty and Grise while some of the knights pursue them. Meanwhile, Walter and Sasha are standing near each other and watching each other's back while knights surround them. Walter declares that they will leave no enemy alive. Meanwhile, Kai and the rest arrive at the prison, but the place is shielded by a golden light barrier. Kai slices through with his demon sword, making it disappear. He orders Grise to go ahead inside while he and Melty handle the knights after them. Grise nods and goes inside. Knights have reached them and warn them that even if they manage to free the slaves inside, their main forces will soon return to the fortress. Meanwhile, a large army of knights is marching back to the fortress. One of them is riding a dragon while it flies in the sky. His hand crest shows that he is the rare class of dragon rider. One of the knights laughs at Kai, thinking it would only be a matter of time until he finishes once their 1,000 troops and dragon riders arrive. Kai remains calm without care and simply waits for them to come. Meanwhile, the army of knights is about to arrive at the fortress. These men do not realize that they are being watched by many people in the shadows or in the bushes. These stalkers are the Demon King's undead elite Templars. They come out from the bushes and ambush them, all while Kai narrates how powerful they are. The living knights are barely hanging on to their lives as the undead slowly eliminate them one by one. One of the living armies suggests that they use their numbers against the 300 undead, only for him to be cut on the cheek in mid-sentence. With just a surface wound, this knight dies. The others get confused about how he died from just a scratch. Kai reveals that he imbued the undead with the ability for instant death in each of their hits. They are so challenging that those left alive retreat. Inside the fortress walls, Kai predicts that the main force army must have collapsed by now, and that all that is left to worry about is the dragon rider. As he thinks this, a giant dragon's shadow is cast over the fortress grounds. Walter fears that the dragon is headed for the prison. Meanwhile, Mithil continues to eliminate men near the prison. She can feel how much power she gained after going through the contract. Her moment gets disturbed as a rider and his giant dragon land on the roof of the house Mithil is near. The dragon breathes fire to kill Mithil, but she manages to dodge its flames. She looks at how huge a crater its attack left behind and gets scared of its power. The rider laughs as its dragon continues to breathe fire in an attempt to hit the running cat girl. Mithil can do nothing but run as fast as she can away from it. Suddenly, many black holes open up in the path of the dragon's fire projectiles. Mithil looks around and sees that the black holes have sucked up all the flames. The rider gets confused, only to see that Kai is on the ground with his hand stretched out. He and his dragon charge down towards Kai while swearing he will kill him. Mithil worries for Kai and asks that they retreat. The Demon King rejects the notion and reminds her that they came to free everyone. Meanwhile, the dragon continues to be fast as it charges down. It opens its mouth wide to ready itself for a bite. Meanwhile, Gries is freeing demons within the prison by breaking their shackles. Once everyone is off their shackles, she encourages them all to run. The prisoners get scared as they see the dragon flying from the window. They start complaining about how they can never escape. Gries silences them by shouting and telling them that they have come to reclaim their land. She announces that now is the time to reclaim their freedom. Meanwhile, the dragon rider's dive continues. While he does, he dodges a fireball that is reaching his face. He looks again and sees that multiple fireballs are coming his way. These fireballs hit the dragon directly in its face, causing it to fall. As the rider falls with it, Mithil jumps and claws him into incapacitation. The dragon drops just near Kai, while Melly lands too. She looks at the claws that she used against the rider and can't believe they are victorious. Meanwhile, Gries and the prisoners have reached outside. The demon princess is just in time to see how Mithil defeated the rider. Kai approaches the cat girl and reminds her that everyone is free now. She looks at him in silence, still taking everything in. She sees Gries and they greet each other over a job well done. As the prisoners are smiling and hugging over enjoying their newfound freedom, a voice tells Kai that he has earned 2,000 evil points. Mithil shares an embrace with one of the free demons and thanks their blessings that they are alive. Meanwhile, Walter is observing the frog from a corner with a smile. He wonders what Elsa will do once she finds out about the situation. Kai thinks about it and suddenly gets an epiphany. He tells Walter that he just gave him a great idea and that they need to provoke Elsa. Walter is left confused about what he is talking about. Elsa is at the former Demon King's castle, taking a bath in a bathtub, while a knight reports to her that she has just been recommended to the hero's party to defeat the Demon King. The woman gloats about how everything is going according to her plans. She celebrates by throwing all the gold coins she surrounds herself with to make it rain. She also exclaims how the Demon King's grand castle is very much her style. She asks her demon bunny girl slave if she is right. The woman then grabs the bunny girl by her ears and forces her to tell her how worthy the castle is for her. The rabbit has no choice but to tell the bully that the castle perfectly suits her. Elsa says she made the right answer and then burns her with her magic grip. The girl screams and Elsa laughs. She looks at the bunny's agonized face and thinks of how much fun it is to torment cute girls like her. She lets go, only to brag about how everything comes easy to her because of her rare class of magic swordsman. He dresses up and goes to her men to declare to them that she has attained noble status and membership in the hero's party. She brags to them about all the money she will attain after defeating the Demon King. The men cheer for their leader. Elsa takes out a wine from the collection and tells her men that it is so expensive that they should be blessed just looking at it. They suddenly hear a sound from above that causes dust to fall off the ceiling. Then, a messenger suddenly enters to urgently tell his mistress of an emergency. Just as he tells them that monsters are coming, the room walls suddenly explode. Elsa and what's left of his men in the room see that outside is a dragon facing them. The woman recognizes that the dragon is a zombie and wonders how such a monster came to this region. Mysteriously, Kay's voice comes out from the dragon's mouth to tell Elsa that he is the Demon King and that he has already reclaimed the Mithil mine. Elsa is stunned to hear it. He continues to say that the dragon in front of him now serves the Demon King. The knights came to realize that the dragon came from their rider. Kai then tells Elsa that he will take everything from her as revenge for taking his life and Colette away from him. Elsa says she has no idea what he is talking about and swears she will kill him for trying to steal from her. Kai replies that he can't wait to see what she'll do and then lets his dragon breathe black fire on Elsa. The woman realizes that the fire is cursed and that she should not let it touch her. She grabs one of her knights and uses him as a human shield against the flame. Elsa then runs to the dragon's side and summons fire with her sword to counter. She watches as the dragon gets covered in flame. She is so angry, she swears to kill the Demon King without waiting for the hero's party to form. The man she used as a shield complains about what she just did to him. Elsa's only answer is for him to shut up and stop complaining. He orders his men to gather the troops. The men grab their weapons to get ready for battle in the Mithil mine. The cursed man is left behind, shivering in fear. The men then inform Elsa that all the rare wine was destroyed in the dragon attack. The more news she gets, the more she thinks about how angry she is. She swears that she will never forgive the Demon King. Elsa and her men are on horseback as they head for the Mithil mine fortress. On their way, they see their fallen forces and destruction in the fortress. Elsa arrives outside the fortress, still cursing the Demon King. They hear the playing of musical instruments from behind the fortress wall, and it makes them think that the enemies are throwing a feast. The thought of it makes Elsa grind her teeth. She magically puts fire over her sword and orders her men to kill everyone. With a strike, she destroys the entrance gate. Just as Elsa is getting hiked up for battle, she and her men see that only two demons with musical instruments are in front of them. The moment the demons see them, they run away. Just as Elsa reacts with confusion, Walter ambushes her from the air. His sword heads to Elsa's head, only for the woman to block with her own blade without even looking up. Without effort, she pushes Walter, who flies away. The woman enhances her abilities as her anger also rises. She looks so intimidating to Walter as she asks him how much the demons pay him to betray her. In an instant, she gets behind her enemy. She readies to slice him up with her flaming sword. Before she can, the army of the undead comes charging at her. The confused Elsa is stunned to see that even the fortress guards betrayed her. Looking carefully, she realizes that they are undead. She and her men block their attack. They then see that more of the undead are coming from the entrance. It discomforts them that they knew them from when they were alive. Elsa faces Walter again and tells her that the undead are not enough to stop her. The ground beneath Elsa and her men suddenly turns into a glowing purple ooze that is sucking them down. Meanwhile, the undead still continue their charge on them. After a second, the men realize that they can't move. Elsa deduces that the swamp is poison. Kai appears from the top of the walls and compliments Elsa for finding out she is under his paralysis poison spell. The confused Elsa asked how he could be the Demon King if he is human. She is impressed that his poison swamp is a spell equivalent to a grand mage. Meanwhile, her men are diminishing in numbers thanks to the undead. Elsa thinks that if nothing goes her way, then she will burn her men to clear herself from the poison. She readies to turn up the flame on her sword only to realize that she can no longer use magic. She thinks it might be the poison but realizes it is something else. Somewhere else, Sasha is using MP Drain continuously to steal the enemy's magic. Elsa is getting frustrated to the point of desperation. Her soldiers are now so few that the undead have a clear path to surround her. Elsa is thinking of using her secret trump card. Kai eats into it as he tells her that he knows she always uses a skill called Limit Release every time she gets cornered. The woman is stunned that he knows this. Kai dares her to use it. Elsa replies that she will. Her men beg her not to use it while they are nearby, but the woman tells them to just shut up. She starts the process of activating her Limit Release. Her men continue to convince her not to do it. The woman glows with bright purple light as she declares her spell. Elsa releases her Limit Release trump card, filling the battlefield with her overwhelming magic energy that sends her men flying like she is an explosion. The woman glares at Kai, yet the man remains calm. With her stats all tripled for minutes, she manages to jump off the poison swamp and onto a plank just above it. She swears to let Kai know the difference in their level. Her men plead with her not to since they will get caught up in her path of destruction. Despite their pleas, the woman destroys the undead in her path with powerful flames without caring if her men are in the way. As they predicted, many of them get sliced up by the flame too. Just as Kai reacts to how powerful her attack is, it reaches him from his high ground and his spot explodes. Walter and Sasha worry for their lord as they see a portion of the fortress wall disappear. As the smoke clears, Kai is revealed as still standing on the platform he was on. Elsa is shocked to see this. Even Walter and Sasha can't believe it. Kai tells his enemy that she is still in her growth spurt in his eyes. He remembers how powerful the woman will be, and even he is not convinced he can stop her by then. He focuses on the day in the future when he saw how exhausted she was after using her limit release. Kai tells her to hurry up before she weakens. It makes Elsa uncomfortable that he knows so much. Meanwhile, Elsa's men all surrender to the Demon King and ask if they can switch sides with him. Elsa looks at him with disdain. Kai agrees but wants them to prove whose side they are really on. They all switch to a sword stance and attack their former boss all at once. She raises her sword at them, only for her body to suddenly become paralyzed. Kai reminds her how much time she spent in the poison swamp. He tells Elsa's former men to stand back, so they leave the woman to drown in the poison swamp. He remembers how she abused and belittled him in the past, and how she looks so pathetic in front of him right now. Elsa struggles back up and enhances herself with what's left of her magic. Seeing her still determined to fight forces Kai to admit she is truly tough. She strikes at him with her signature flaming sword. As she tries to attack him over and over, she shouts out that she is the strongest, chosen to be the rare magic swordsman. Despite all her insistence that she is the strongest, Kai remains effortlessly unharmed from all her attacks. He shows her his darkness crest and activates a spell as he tells her that she is still no match for a dark mage like him. The spell of hellfire magic pierces her body from many directions. She gets left on her knees trying to catch her breath. She asks him what grudge he has against her. Kai answers that he made a promise. Elsa has no idea what he is talking about, but she stands up and admits that she can't defeat him. Kai is confused about what she is up to. The woman takes off pieces of her clothes and then seductively offers herself to him. Everyone has their jaws on the floor seeing Elsa seduce Kai. Kai himself does not look pleased. Elsa justifies that she is strong and beautiful. Midway through her pitch, Kai shoots her with black magic energy and misses only centimeters away from her face. Elsa is silenced as she sees the beam explode behind her. Kai tells her that he will kill her the next time she tries something like that again. Grise appears to tell Elsa that it was her Lord Kai who convinced her to take her alive. Elsa is shocked to see Grise again and asks disrespectfully if she has come to be sold off as a slave again. She then realizes that this means she is with the Demon Lord. Grise does not say anything, but her silence tells Elsa she is correct. Elsa's adrenaline returns, and she charges at the Demon Princess. Walter and Sasha fear for the princess, unlike Kai, who has all the trust in Grice's strength. Grise restrains the villain with her crimson whips, leaving her unable to move. The woman asks the Demon Princess how she became this strong. Grise only tells her to swear her loyalty to Kai. The villain objects. She struggles to get loose, but with each second, her limit-release strength fades. Grise tightens her restraints, putting her in pain. It forces Elsa to tell her that she swears her loyalty to Kai. Kai orders the villain to hand all of her wealth to him. Elsa grinds her teeth but still agrees. Later that night, the demon group is back in the castle and Grise is on the throne, celebrating her return with wine. Sasha tells the others that she has full confidence that her Lady Grise will serve as Kai's proxy splendidly. Elsa is also in the throne room with the others and gets busy asking how she can break the contract she had with Kai. Melty tells her she does not know, disappointing the woman. Kai approaches her and tells her he will consider what she is asking as a form of betrayal, tensing her up. She recalls the moment Kai granted her the contract to be one of his 4 heavenly demons. Elsa threatened that she would have his head the moment she gets the chance. Kai makes it clear to her that the condition of the contract of servitude is that she will die if she betrays him. It was then that she realized that she was doomed. The cat-eared sisters watch as she mopes on her knees. Meanwhile, Kai goes to the balcony to think about his beloved Colette and how she must be feeling right now as a prisoner. He thinks about Elsa's overwhelming power and how he truly needs her for the rescue mission. The grand barrier around the capital weighs heavy on his mind, and he needs to plot down everything in order to break it. Grise sees him alone and informs him that an envoy from the mercenary group called Red Scorpion has arrived. He asks if Grise can join him in the negotiations. The girl says she does not mind but is visibly sad when she asks if he will leave the kingdom immediately after. Kai replies, as he stares into the distance, that he will. Grise sees how serious he is and asks if he really likes his fiancée. The man looks at her and smiles as he says that he definitely does. The girl looks away from him as she tries to cover up how sad she looks. Just as she steps away, Elsa rushes to the balcony to speak to Kai. Unbeknownst to them, a lone holy knight is outside the castle walls, observing Kai and Elsa while they talk on the balcony. The knight is in disbelief that Elsa somehow lost to the Demon King and talks about how he must report this to Johan as soon as possible. Suddenly, he sees the archdemon just above him, flying in the sky. The creature tells the knight that he will be Kay's next informant and then captures him. Elsewhere in the royal capital, Johan compliments Colette for her beauty. Colette is revealed to be wearing a white dress of a saint, but with eyes filled with sadness. A golden crest of a cross is marked on her neck to mark her imprisonment. In the holy capital, Colette is being dressed up by servants in a fancy bedroom. They praise her beauty, but sadness is written all over her face. She remembers when she was captured by the knights when she demanded to be set free and was desperate not to return to the Holy King's capital. She stated that she is with Kai, but Johan cut her off, saying he is the Demon King and that she will never see him again. Johan walks into the room with a smug expression and is pleased to see Colette garbed in white robes. He says she looks like a true saint and is a perfect match for himself. She turns to ask him a question, but before she can finish, Angel barges into the room looking full of worry and rushes to Colette. Angel says she heard she was abducted by the Demon King before asking if she was harmed in any way. Colette stutters a bit and then tries to explain that Angel is mistaken, but she is once again interrupted when her father enters the room. He also asks if his daughter is unharmed while Johan observes everything that is going on. He then bows and greets the MANHWAs and says that his girl has been brainwashed by the Demon King and has been afflicted with a terrible curse. Colette shouts in protest, saying that it is all a lie, but before she can complete her statement, magical chains wrap around her neck and tighten. Johan sports a satisfied smirk while Angel and Valm look with terror at what they believe is the curse in action. Colette still tries to speak and struggles to say that Kai is a hero who saved everyone before falling to her knees in pain. Angel moves closer to comfort her, and Colette then tries to say that Johan is the one behind the curse. Angel doesn't fully grasp what she is saying as she looks at Colette with concern. Johan says the princess should not listen since this is the effect of the curse. Colette is filled with rage as Johan tells Angel to return to her chambers for the time being. The princess seems hesitant, but Johan assures her that he will care for the lady. He then turns to Valm, whose face is filled with worry and fear. Colette looks up to him with pleading eyes and begs him to believe that Kai is not a villain. Johan then states that it must be painful for her to be deceived and brainwashed as the servants and Valm look at her with shock. She insists that she was not deceived, but he counters that it is impossible to believe that she is in her right mind. Colette continues to try to convince her father, but Valm clearly believes what Johan is saying. He says that he would like to proceed with what they discussed. Johan thanks him while the lady wonders what he means. The evil priest says it is about their engagement. Colette looks horrified as he adds that as the holy saint, he is destined to be with the saint from the very beginning. Valm adds that this is the best outcome for someone who has been tainted. With eyes overflowing with trepidation, she screams that she is with Kai. Her father shouts back that the man she is mentioning has fallen into darkness, even attacking his own father. Colette is speechless as Johan thanks her father and asks that they be left alone. He then explains that he has authority over the entire church and that she should think carefully if she still wishes to help the Demon King. She finds irony in a holy saint resorting to threats, but he justifies himself, saying it is for the sake of justice. He adds that thanks to her, he was able to deploy the Grand Barrier, as the prayer room only functions with a saint and a sacred relic. His gaze moves to her as he thanks her and praises her for her beauty. He says that life with him would not be so bad, though he does desire everything, including her power as the Saint of Time. He smiles menacingly, and adds that even in the next cycle, she will still be his. The thought fills Colette with trepidation. She says absolutely not, and that her heart yearns to be with Kai. She then tells him bluntly that she would rather die. Johan cannot believe it as she states that she will choose death if he forces her to obey. This triggers the evil saint as he screams at her about the Demon King. She shouts back that his name is Kai, and he will never lose to someone like Johan. The saint is angry, but before he can do anything else, Mithil enters the room. He whispers that he has an urgent report. Johan is annoyed at the timing and asks what it is. Mithil, though, says he won't say it in this room. Johan is clearly annoyed but then walks to the door while Mithil hands Colette a document that he says was entrusted to him by her personal maid. He hands her the book, which she looks at with lonely eyes. Mithil then follows Johan out and shuts the door, leaving Colette alone in the empty dark room. She stays on the floor and wonders what she can do. She doesn't even know if Kai is aware of her situation. She regrets letting her guard down as she opens the book and sees that there is a note inside. She holds it up and then looks surprised at what is written on the piece of paper. Colette realizes that the note came from Kai. She smiles as she reads his writings that say he knows what happened to her and that he is gathering allies to rescue her. The note also states his apology for leaving her alone to be captured. Colette thinks about him with tears in her eyes and whispers that she will be waiting for him. Meanwhile, in Johan's office, Johan reprimands Mithil for barging so openly into the castle when he should always be in the shadows as a purifier. He then realizes that Mithil is about to report something about the Demon King and calms down to hear him out. The evil saint tells him that it is alright that Kai somehow escaped because he knows he must be a powerful man if he is already in his second life. Mithil corrects him and tells him that Kai annihilated all the purifiers except him. Johan can't believe that purifiers would be defeated. He orders Mithil to raise the alert level and reorganize the purifiers. Later, Johan goes to the throne room to report to the Archbishop. The bishop orders him to gather all the candidates for the heroes' party and assign them to protect the capital. The man on the throne declares that the Demon King will be dealt with by the Holy Church. Johan bows to show his loyalty. He smiles as he thinks about how it will be the end of the Demon King. Elsewhere at the Demon King's castle, Mithil has returned to Kai. The spy reports to his lord that he has delivered his letter to Colette and that the girl is under strict security. Kai looks calm, yet his fist is fully gripped. Mithil then puts all the classified information he stole that lays out all the capital's defenses. Kai marvels at what he found but worries about the device listed that drains magic energy like MP Drain. He sees from blueprints that many of these devices are lined up all around the capital. The man worries that even if they can break the barrier, they will still be forced into a fight without their magic. Kai thinks of a way to bypass this but can't find the idea at the moment. The man then senses instinctively that there is danger coming. Outside the castle, Elsa's guard of the territory is interrupted as she sees that there is a giant axe beside her. A gigantic, scary creature is revealed to be in front of her and asks if she is Elsa. The giant presses on the ground with his axe, causing it and the tower behind Elsa to crack. A second later, the tower splits into two. The mysterious giant tells her that he came to claim the Demon King's territory. Elsa tells him that the territory has just been taken. The giant asks which demon, but Elsa corrects him by saying that it is actually a human who claimed it. This angers the giant, who screams at the woman that he will kill her and then the human. Elsa is more happy about a fight than scared. Walters, Grice, and Sasha go outside to see if there is an enemy attack. The giant looks at Grice as if he knows her. Meanwhile, Elsa is already enhancing her physical abilities. She summons flames and propels them towards the giant. The giant counters her flame slash with his own axe slash. Both combatants rush towards each other, leading to a sonic boom. The giant is surprised to see that Kai actually went between their attacks and blocked both their blades with ease. The man tells them both that their fight is over. The giant asks how he stopped his attack. Kai does not answer, instead asks who he is. Grice calls out the visitor's name as Balrog, and she looks happy to see him. The giant is also happy to see her alive. Everyone around, including Kai, is shocked that they know each other. The giant looks so gentle as he smiles at Grice's presence. Balrog is happy to see that the princess has grown up. Both he and Grice look so happy seeing each other again. The big guy says that he came to the castle the moment he heard that it was taken away. The man seems familiar to Ka, but he can't put his finger on when he has seen him before. It catches Balrog's attention that Kai is holding the demon sword. It reminds Grice that she should introduce him to her lord. The giant is intrigued that she just called him her lord. Grice realizes that she needs to explain. They head to the throne room, where Balrog sits down and looks around. Kai realizes that he is from the most powerful demon race known as ogres. Walter reports to Kai that they are almost done preparing for their operation. Balrog asks what Kai is planning. Grizz gladly introduces Balrog to Kai and explains that he was one of the 4 heavenly demons when her father was the Demon King. Kai is shocked to hear it. He now remembers him as a strong opponent in heavy armor in the future. Balrog asks why humans and demons are getting along in the castle, and then follows up by asking why Kai has the Demon King's sword. Kai answers that it is because he is the Demon King. Balrog's eyes widen. Kai understands why someone like him would not understand why a human would suddenly be claiming to be a Demon King. Sasha explains that not only did Kai fight for demon liberation, but everyone in the castle also swore loyalty to him. The giant looks around and sees that no one has any objections. The thought of demons being loyal to a human fills Balrog with so much anger that he grips a pillar until the squeeze destroys it. He reminds Sasha of the Demon King's last words before he died. The ogre declares to everyone that Grice is the rightful Demon King. He goes on to say that he can never accept a human for a Demon King. Grice tells him that she understands where he is coming from, but that Kai has all the qualities and strengths of a true Demon King. Hearing him so loyal to a human makes the giant grind his teeth. Kai tells them they are about to launch an attack on the holy capital, so he asks that he decide if he wants to acknowledge him as the Demon King after. Balrog objects to the plan since the capital is nearly impenetrable. Kai replies that they will all attack as a coalition of humans and demons alike. Balrog deems his thinking ridiculous. Kai has had enough talking and starts ordering people for the siege on the capital right in front of the giant. Ignoring him insults Balrog so much that he readies his axe for an attack. Grise puts herself between him and Kai. She demands that he not stand in her lord's way. Balrog demands to know why she is siding with a human. Grise dares him to ask around and see one person here not loyal to Kai. Balrog observes and sees that everyone looks happy to be around Kai. Balrog can't accept it and leaves. He is met by his ogre allies. Balrog hears something moving in the bushes and alerts his men that they are followed. Behind the bushes are holy knights with weapons. Balrog tells his men that he senses 10 enemies in total. The holy knight reveals himself and attacks. The one who attacks Balrog tries to strike him with a spear, but the ogre dodges with no effort. Balrog grabs his spear and snaps it into two like a twig. The giant grabs the man's head and makes it pop. It leads the other knights to be afraid and run away. Balrog tells them that he will let at least one of them live. Balrog and his people head to the ogre tribe's forward base. One ogre tells his master, Balrog, that he has gathered every piece of information he could find on Kai. Despite the expectation of the ogre tribe leader, the investigator says he found no bad deed under his name. Despite his report, Balrog can't help but be suspicious that the human is up to something. He moves on to the knight they captured, who they have restrained on a wooden chair with his head covered. Balrog removes his face cover and asks if he is ready to talk. The beaten holy knight claims that Kai's role is to lure the demons into the capital and that he is actually the son of the holy knight captain. He yells to the shocked Balrog that Kai is one of them. The ogre leader grips his head with his giant hand and squeezes him to death. Feeling vindicated, he orders everyone to gather. Meanwhile, at the Demon King's castle, Grise counts all their forces, including the undead, and sees that they reach about 1,000. She worries that they are completely unmatched by the holy capital's numbers and magic weapons. Kai approaches her and says that it just looks like they are outmatched, so the girl wonders what he means. He tells her to stop worrying since he trusts every individual by his side. They look at the holy capital in the distance and say that it is only a matter of time until they save Colette. Someone interrupts their moment to inform Kai that Balrog's messenger has arrived. Kai has a look that says he has a bad feeling about this. He meets up with the messenger, who yells out that Balrog deeply apologizes for his attitude before. The messenger's face does not look sincere, and Kai can tell. The messenger continues and asks that the Demon King come to their ogre tribe village. Kai senses something fishy, so he tells him that he will just accept the sentiment. The messenger warns him that there will be consequences if he refuses an offer from the ogre tribe. Kai thinks about it and decides he should not make an enemy of them. He asks Walter to lead and then asks Grise and Sasha to come with him to the ogre tribe. With everyone ready, Kai asks the messenger to guide them to their village. They reach the ogre tribe village, where everyone is looking intensely at Kai. Grise comments on how everyone and everything looks so huge. Kai sees no houses around, so the guide tells him that their tribe has no use for them since no enemy can challenge them. His answer seems suspicious to Kai, who observes that everyone is wearing armor. The man asks him why they are wearing armor when they have no enemies. The ogre answers that it just so happens that they have just returned from battle. His words do not put the man at ease. He and Sasha sense magic near them when ogres are known to not use magic. Their ogre guide says it is time to head to where Balrog is. The ogre guides them to a cave and asks that they enter. The guide's unwelcoming look makes them uneasy to come in. Kai looks intense as he looks within the cave. Kai, Grise, and Sasha are following the ogre guide while they walk the cave tunnels. Kai wonders what kind of trap the ogre laid for them. He warns his companions that he senses a presence other than the ogre tribe and asks that they stay on guard. The guide sends them to a banquet hall where Balrog and his soldiers are waiting to welcome them. Kai tells the ogre king that they are in a hurry and will leave soon. Balrog tells him that he is being cold, but accepts it. Kai and his companions sit at their desks, which are already filled with food. Grise and Sasha quickly partake in the food and enjoy it, but Kai is wary and does not eat. Balrog is glad to see Grise and Sasha happy, but notices that Kai is not eating. He asks with demanding eyes what is wrong. Kai replies that it is nothing and puts a spoonful of food in his mouth. Balrog looks on with attention as he does so. Kai praises the food for being delicious, so Balrog says he is glad. The other ogres in the room look at each other and smile mischievously. Instantly, Grise gets so weak that she drops her bowl of food. Sasha worries only for her, and Grise to instantly fall unconscious. Kai looks surprised to see them fall. Balrog asks for forgiveness from Grise for what he just did. He declares to Kai that a human like him cannot be the new Demon King. Kai asks if he poisoned Grise and Sasha. The Ogre King replies that he only paralyzed them, but that Kai ingested lethal poison. Kai asks why he did this. Balrog is angered that he is acting clueless, telling him that he knows very well that he is trying to massacre the demon tribe. Kai asks who told him this. He replies that it was his ally. Kai is satisfied with his answer and tells Grise and Sasha that they can drop their act now. Both of the girls then get up lively, like nothing happened. The ogres are shocked, so Kai informs them that handling poison is a black mage's specialty. He reveals that before they eat any of the food, he first puts detoxification magic on them. Balrog asks how they knew. Grise answers that it was obvious from the start. She reviewed all the suspicious signs before they even entered the cave. Balrog looks at the embarrassed guide. Balrog loses his composure and wants to fight Kai to end things instead. Kai summons the demon sword Trifing. Balrog recognizes it. Grise and Sasha were about to join the attack, but Kai tells them not to interfere. The ogre swings his giant axe, but Kai blocks and holds his ground despite his small stature. Balrog is impressed that he stopped his strike. He comments that he is a worthy son of a knight commander and tells him that he won't be swayed by his holy knight's plot. Kai is shocked that he is saying this. Balrog swings again, and the black mage evades. The ogre is shocked that he managed to dodge. Kai then shadow walks on top of his opponent and then unleashes black thunder on him. Balrog's whole body is producing smoke from the lightning. He is so overwhelmed that he drops to his knees. The ogre soldiers worry for their king. Kai says that he is done. Balrog is confused as to why he is not finishing the job. Suddenly, a barrage of light beams comes out from behind the curtains. It injures many of the ogres, but Kai, Grise, and Sasha get shielded from it by their magic barrier. It is revealed that it was Kai's father, Geese, and his knights who were behind the curtains. The knight leader also reveals that he now has a mechanical arm to replace his dismembered one. Everywhere in the banquet hall, the ogres are weak and unable to stand. Geese is disappointed that none of the ogres are killed. Kai asks if he deceived the ogres just to kill him. Geese confirms it and tells him that the demons are fools who would believe anything. Kai then asks if he is planning to massacre the ogre tribe, and the knight answers that, of course, he is. Balrog is so enraged as he screams out that he won't forgive Geese. Kai rushes towards his father to attack. In response, Geese drinks from a jar of green fluid. He reveals that it is a secret elixir granted by Johan to give him power equal to a hero. As he says this, his body transforms to give him hulking muscles that rip through his knight armor. Grise informs Kai that none of the ogres can fight right now, so she tells him that she and Sasha will face the holy knights while he faces off with his father. Balrog suddenly charges at Geese and makes a strike that makes the ground explode. The holy knights make golden light barriers to protect them from the debris of the battle. The second in command of the knights orders his men to endure for now, so they can wipe out the weakened ogres later. He questions why Kai has sided with the demon tribe. Grise pierces through the golden barriers of the knights and breaks them. She orders Sasha to evacuate the ogre tribe, and the maid responds that she will. Meanwhile, Geese is battling Balrog. He is hyped up as he sees that he now has the power of a hero he has always dreamed of. Balrog gets overwhelmed and is stabbed in the chest by a sword. Kai interferes by summoning demonic energy arms to grab onto his father. Geese sees it coming and manages to dodge before it gets to him. The Holy Knight Commander tells him that his son is a filthy black sorcerer for even trying the trick. He makes a barrage of powerful sword slashes that Kai evades. Kai summons a shadow wall, which traps his father. He then summons a magic circle underneath his father, where shadow tendrils appear to bind his father. Geese then suddenly feels pain. Kai sees that Geese is confused, so he explains that there is no real secret elixir and that he will die within minutes. Geese is shocked and sweating. Kai explains further that he was just a disposable pawn for Johan. Geese cannot accept it, but all of his muscles are swelling up like a balloon that he is about to explode. Geese exploded. Kai intentionally did not look at him as he did, as it was too much for him to bear. Grise asks him if he is okay. The man smiles and tells her not to worry about him. Kai looks around at the injured ogres and dead bodies and blames himself for what happened. He tells Grise that Geese suddenly died because Johan tricked him into drinking a level booster that made him temporarily stronger, but also had the side effect of killing him. As Balrog carries his ogre comrades, he asks Kai if the Holy Knight Commander was his father. Kai tells him that he was, but that he feels nothing for his death because he came to kill him. Balrog accepts this answer and asks that he give them time to heal before they continue talking. Kai uses his magic on the ogres, instantly healing all of them to full health. The ogres cheer as they go to Kai to shake his hand. Balrog asks the man why he has spared and helped the ogre tribe after they tried to kill him. Kai answers that he promised Grise that he would save the entire demon tribe. Balrog now admits that he is a good person, worthy of the demon princess's trust and care. The ogre king asks that Kai protect the princess. Grise asks Balrog to come with them, but Balrog says he cannot since he is committed to the former demon king only. Kai asks if they can meet again after they attack the capital. He promises that by then, he will be the true demon king for the demon tribe, and that even he will be convinced of this. Ogre agrees to the meeting and also wants it to be an opportunity to sincerely apologize to him. Grise and the ogres are glad they have an understanding. Balrog closes with the statement that they will meet again. Kai, Grise, and Sasha travel again. They regret not having Balrog come with them, but they accept it and move on. Suddenly, a severely injured old man in holy knight armor approaches them. Grise is about to attack him, only for Kai to stop him. The old man calls Kai his lord and demands that he explain why someone like him would betray humanity. Kai explains to the girls that he is Vice Captain Gallard and his former sword instructor. He greets Gallard and tells him that it has been a long time. Gallard does not understand why he said it has been a long time. Elsewhere, Walter, Elsa, and Kai's demon army are trekking towards the royal capital. Walter tells the others that they should set up base at a nearby village or abandoned fort, since setting up camp just in front of the royal capital means getting the attention of the enemy's large army. A large flying demon suddenly appears, alerting Elsa. It suddenly shrinks to its chibi form, surprising the woman further. Walter informs her that it is just Kai's archdemon messenger. The archdemon informs them that Kai wants them to change course to the guardian stronghold of Austin Fortress near the holy capital. Elsa recognizes the name of Austin as Kai's family name and worries that attacking the Demon King's family might mean breaking the contract with the Demon King himself. The archdemon tells them not to worry about it and just go. The archdemon leads them in front of the walls of the stronghold. Elsa worries that this might be a trap, but Walter assures her that everything will be fine. The gate of the stronghold opens, putting Walter and Elsa on high alert. Gallard and his holy knight men greet them and ask if they are the Demon King's army. Walter answers that they are. Instantly, Gallard orders everyone to drop their weapons. This puts the demon army on high alert and Walter and Elsa in a fighting mood. Walter and Elsa draw their swords and order all units into battle formations. Suddenly, it is Gallard and his men who drop all their weapons. The vice captain tells Walter and Elsa that they should surrender, shocking them. Just as Elsa asks what is going on, Kai appears to tell them that they are late. This shocks Elsa and Walter again. Kai explains that he already spoke to Gallard, who is acting commander of the Holy Knights, now that Geese is dead. Gallard says that they will follow Lord Kai no matter what, but that they cannot officially cooperate, and that the knights can serve as prisoners. Kai elaborates that he explained to Gallard that Johan was using them. Since then, Gallard requested cooperation with the Demon King's army in exchange for saving the surviving Holy Knight members. Kai also talked to him about the first cycle, but he is not sure if Gallard believed him. Elsa asks Gallard how he can forgive Kai for setting his own family home on fire. Gallard says he has yet to forgive him. He, however, acknowledges that there were barely any casualties from the event, aside from Geese and Aries. He asks Kai not to let him regret trusting him. Kai shakes his hand and tells him he promises he wouldn't. Grise interrupts their moment to ask if the food is ready. It makes everyone excited to feast. Later, everyone is in the dining hall, eating as much as they can enjoy. Grise raises a glass, and they all cheer. Everyone parties and talks to enjoy the moment. Grise and Sasha are glad to see that everyone looks happy. Grise credits Kai for all of it. Then her eyes turn sad. Elsa and Walter notice her sadness. Walter approaches Grise and assures her that everything is going smoothly. Grise tells him that she is not worried at all, confusing Walter. Elsa tells Walter that he is a dense idiot for not noticing what is really bothering the demon princess. She tells the man that the Demon King is going to help another woman. She comes out and says that Grise is in love with Kai. Sasha yells at her to mind her own business. Meanwhile, Grise is frozen, only now realizing that she must be in love. She looks at Kai's face from a distance, and it makes her whole face red. Melty then approaches Grise and tells her that Kai is looking for her. Just hearing that Kai is calling for her makes her nervous. Still, the dense man, Walter, asks Sasha if the demon princess is alright. Grise enters the meeting room where Kai and a visitor are. Looking at Kai makes her conscious. Kay introduces the visitor as Gale, the leader of the Red Scorpion mercenaries. Kay thinks about how the Red Scorpions are a mixed group of humans and demons, and how they take any job as long as it pays. Gale explains that he knows that Kai's plan is for his mercenary group to pretend to be Paldea troops who have crossed the border of the Holy Kingdom, so that the Holy Capital will have no choice but to send their armies there. Kai is impressed that he has deduced that this is his plan. Suddenly, Walter barges in to inform his demon king that a massive army from the Holy Kingdom is moving into their territory. Gale says he knows that this will happen. The mercenary smiles, as he knows he is in a good position to negotiate with the demon king. Gale admits that the tens of thousands of Holy Knight troops coming their way is because the Red Scorpions lured them out. Kai asks him what he is trying to accomplish. Gale assures him that it's not personal and is just a way for him to negotiate. He says that it is in his power to lure the Holy Knights to the Paldea Empire's border if he so wants to. He warns Kai to choose wisely if he wants his mercenary group's service. Kai asks if he is threatening them. Gale answers that it is just business. He asks for 30 million gold for his services. Grise objects, stating that they could not get that high amount even if they sold the mansion. Gale asks what is more important to them, their lives or their money. Gale advises them to think about it carefully, only to say that they do not have the time to think before the Holy Knight arrives. Kai puts one finger up as if stating the amount he is willing to give. He then smiles and tells him he can give him 100 million gold. This shocks Gale, Grise, and Walter. Kai asks if it is not satisfactory, so Gale knows what to say, except it is. Grise whispers to her demon king that even their national treasure can't cover the amount. Kai replies that she does not need to worry since they have access to Elsa's assets and that she is worth several hundred million. It makes Grise and Walter realize he is right. Meanwhile, Elsa is still in the dining hall eating when she suddenly feels a chilling feeling that his wealth is not safe. Kai tells Gale that he should not make any other unauthorized moves without his consent. Gale asks seriously if this entire war is all about a woman for him. Kai answers that it is, saddening Grise. It surprises Gale until he cannot help but laugh out loud. He puts his arms around Kai and tells him that he likes his attitude. Gale reaches out his hand while telling Kai that he trusts him more than the people in the Holy Kingdom who preach justice but are really full of greed. Kai accepts his hand, and they shake on their deal. Meanwhile, in the Holy Capital, the Holy Knights are panicking since they have just received reports that the Paldea Empire has deployed a large army along the border. Johan orders the Knights to send 3 divisions as reinforcements. He is suspicious of why the Empire attacked at such a bad time. He assures himself that they are safe for now with the Great Barrier around them. To be safe, Johan orders the Knights to prepare weapons that include ones that can drain magic, just in case the Demon King might attack the Holy Capital. The soldiers are all on high alert, wearing their armor and weapons. Johan reviews that they have 12 members selected as candidates for the Demon King subjugation party, while also assuring himself that they still have the level booster as a secret weapon. He convinces himself to be calm since he cannot think of a way the Demon King can defeat them. Suddenly, Johan hears a man demanding to be let go. He looks and sees that a knight has arrived with a restrained prisoner. The knight tells Johan that the man claimed to be a hero named Aries, and that they caught him stealing yesterday. Johan thinks this problem is beneath him, only for the name of Aries to click. He realizes that he is Aries from the Austen family. He remembers the prophecy about how the hero will come from the Austen family, so he demands that Aries show him his crest. Aries refuses, but a knight pins him to the floor. Johan is shocked to see the light crest visible from his hand. It dawns on him that he overlooked the possibility that Kai Austen is not the hero in the family, but his brother. Johan's special skill as a saint is prophecy. With it, he can receive details from the future every 72 hours. The information can sometimes be vague, but the events written down are certain. Right now, he can see that the Holy Capital will be invaded by an army. So, going back to Aries' prophecy, he is sure that he is the hero. Aries continues to insist that he is the real hero and demands that they untie him and bow before him. A holy knight holds him still before Johan declares that they will conduct an interrogation against the man. He then orders them to take him to the military. Angered by his decision, Aries tries to fight, but he is too powerless to even try. Later, Matteo reports back to Johan and brings the hero party candidates. If the Holy Capital is attacked, they have the right people to fight back too. All 12 hero party candidates present are elite warriors that they are confident in. He claims that they have combat power on par with Elsa, and that they will be a great team to fight the Demon King. Johan adjusts his glasses and tells him to call the force the Demon King Subjugation Party. He asks the saint about their role in protecting the sacred artifact of the Grand Barrier. In reply, Johan entrusts him with the sacred artifact and tells him to reinforce the artifact guards. He agrees and bows down to the saint, who tells him that he should prioritize the critical task, since there is no room for error, and that the perfect barrier relies on both the saintess and the artifact. Matteo's Holy Knight emblem on his hand glows, and he tells the saint that he can count on him. Meanwhile, Aries is now in the prison cell and threatens the guards about keeping him inside, telling them that his esteemed father will hear of it. Johan arrives and tells the guards to leave them to have a private talk. Aries looks at him with contempt, obviously not wanting to deal with the man before him. He asks if he is really the son of the Austen family. The prisoner barks at him, confirming his identity once again. To shake him up, he informs him that his father is already dead. The man is visibly dumbfounded and can't believe what he heard. So, he tells him that it is a verified report from the Holy Knights and adds that he was murdered by his own son. Hearing this, Aries becomes broken and horrified. He mocks him for having no one on his side to back him up. The man can no longer boast that he is a hero since no one believes him now, and his family background won't help him at all now that his father is dead. Aries looks so defeated and begins to go insane, and it gives Johan so much satisfaction. He then reaches out his hand inside the cell and whispers that he knows that he is the hero. Aries is shocked to hear this, especially after Johan confesses that he can actually see the truth because of his saint skill, and adds that Aries has been cursed, concealing his class. Looking back, he realizes that it was Kai who cursed him and caused all the heartbreak he is experiencing right now. The curse put him in a bad situation, and right now, what he wants is to take his ultimate revenge against his brother. He is shaking with pure rage as he remembers all the hardships he had to survive when, in fact, he is the true hero. With determined eyes and pure hatred, he declares that he will assassinate Kai. Fired up, he asks Johan if he can break the curse cast on him since he is a saint. The saint confirms this. However, he has a certain condition that Aries has to meet. He agrees to his condition and, once freed, immediately requests a woman and a royal suite. He demands that everything they do for him should be top class and of the highest quality. The guards seem skeptical about him, but Johan tells them to just follow his whims. The man from the hero party looks at him and can't believe that a man of such lousy character can be a hero. He just can't wrap his head around it. Johan deeply exhales, thinking that regardless of his character, Aries will be a valuable asset to him in the future, and that he will definitely be useful for his plans. The mercenary reports to him that they have finished assembling the fighting force. Just then, a guard comes rushing in and urgently reports that he has something to say about Colette. Hearing this, Aries is shocked that Colette is with Johan. The knights are laughing at how ridiculous it is to even think of attacking the impenetrable holy capital. Meanwhile, somewhere deep in the forest, Kai is observing the headquarters of the enemies. Elsewhere, Grise and Sasha are leading their forces. The latter reports that the holy capital's army has moved to intercept the imperial forces. Grise thanks Elsa for it, which confuses the swordsman. Just then, Walter calls out and tells everyone to stop. He informs them that that part of the forest is dangerous and that there are 5 heavily fortified checkpoints protecting the holy capital. However, they should not worry since the Demon King has already prepared a strategy. They just have to wait and hold their position. The beasts are puzzled and ask where the Demon King is. Meanwhile, Kai is fighting with the knights guarding the holy fortress. The commander is bewildered to see that he is attacking with magic without any chanting and has an immeasurable amount of magical energy. With this, he assumes that the unknown man must be the Demon King. Since it looks like the Demon King hasn't noticed them yet, he orders the knights to attack and end Kai's life. To their shock, before the arrows even make contact with his body, the Demon King manages to snap them one by one without even looking. Kai is satisfied that he was able to take down the checkpoint alone to save his troop from taking losses. Aside from this, taking solo battles gives him a massive boost in gaining EP. The auto-chanting he is using takes 2000 EP to get, but seeing how effective it is against the enemies, it is definitely worth it. This new skill allows preset spells or skills to activate automatically without chanting. It triggers against any creature or projectile that enters the range. It consumes a tremendous amount of mana and attacks indiscriminately, but the ability to counter surprise attacks is a huge advantage. To retaliate, the commander orders the magic squad to hurl powerful fireballs at him, sure that there is no way he can dodge the assault. Using his auto-chanting, which can be set with multiple spells and skills, he easily puts out the fireballs, much to the dread of his enemies. One of the magicians reports that he is already out of mana, and the others are also starting to get exhausted. The commander is starting to fear the Demon King as he starts to cast successive spells like he is not running out of mana. He then figures that Kai is draining mana from the enemy and using auto magic to defeat them. In just a blink of an eye, the Demon King manages to close their distance and appears in front of the commander, who is utterly stunned. Without any enchantments, he manages to cast an attack spell on the man, beating him in that instant. After making sure that there are no more soldiers at the checkpoint, he proceeds to his subordinates. He gained 500 experience points after defeating the Holy Kingdom's first checkpoint. He is happy that everything's progressing smoothly, and he will invest all his current experience points into slash enhancement. Through this, he will have unmatched valor as expected of him as the Demon King. Seeing the archdemon beside him, he tells it that it could have just reported to him telepathically. It then admits that it came along as a bodyguard, but it seems like it wasn't necessary after all. It then reports that they have received intel that Johan is engaged to Colette. Hearing this, Kai is overcome with inexplicable rage, prompting him to tell his subordinates that they will take the holy capital before the moon sets. Later, Elsa, Walter, and the others are surprised to find out that the other checkpoints have already been annihilated and they have become a complete wasteland. Grise and Sasha are both impressed and inspired at the same time, knowing that their king is highly capable of leading them to victory. They then lead the troop and charge toward the Holy Kingdom. Suddenly, Kai arrives, a signal that they will now finally attack and start the real battle. He orders them to take positions and that they should take no casualties. At the Holy Capital's west gate, the knights are guarding the fortress when they realize that the fog suddenly got thicker. Thinking that it might be a spell from the enemy, they suddenly become alert. As the dust settles, Kai appears, looking determined to finish the battle as quickly as he can to get to Colette. The knights suddenly feel threatened by the presence of the Demon King. They charge at him, wanting to kill the king and bring glory to their forces. Remembering that he is a mage, the commander tells them to deploy the magic defense shields, adding that there is one division waiting on the east gate side, and that they should surround him and wait. However, realizing that the Demon King has passed every checkpoint unscathed, he knows that the situation is not looking good for them. Suddenly, they hear rumbling and are surprised to see their own forces charging against them. All along, they were just hiding in the fog. They are horrified to realize that they are the undead comrades they lost in battle. The defense line crumbles in an instant as more undead charge toward the Holy Knights. They start to retreat and run for their safety. Suddenly, the chosen people from the heroes' party arrive and join the fight as well. The leader of the group tells them that no one should dare retreat until victory is theirs. The undead continue the assault, being the mindless zombies that annihilate anyone in their path. The leader faces them head-on, asking if they have ever tasted light attribute. He then swings his sword, emitting a bright, scorching light. The blinding light engulfs the zombies and burns them in an instant, turning them into ashes. This boosts the knights' morale. Seeing the immortal monsters defeated easily gives them hope that they can win the battle. The magician states that dark magic should not be feared since it can always be neutralized with light magic. He then enchants the remaining knights with light magic, giving them an additional surge of power. With a new overflow of magic, the knights are pumped up to defeat the Demon King and fight against the zombies. Meanwhile, Kai realizes that his undead army won't be enough to defeat the Holy Knights, especially after the demon-slaying party has joined the battle. Moreover, his mana is starting to get drained. He contemplates forcing their way through the barrier, but worries that the concentrated fire from the magical weapons would hurt them. With this, he decides to reduce the forces stationed near the barrier first and joins the fight. In the battle, the two forces continue to exchange attacks when suddenly a glaring ray of light descends from the heavens and resurrects all of the dead and heals those who are injured. The soldiers who died and have been revived are shocked by what happened. It is then revealed that Johan has joined the battle, and he smirks as he shows off his powers. He then mocks Kai for marching all the way to the royal kingdom, while leading only an army of undead like a proper demon king. He reminds him that their specialty is demon purging, and that exterminating these lowly beasts is not a big deal to him. He then unleashes the purifier spell, letting himself be engulfed in a blazing wall of bright light. He explains that the ritual is called the Holy Cleansing Flame. Kai may think that he is the one invading, but actually, he is the one being cornered. He lets him realize that he couldn't even break the barrier and enter the holy capital, and that the army he painstakingly gathered is gone in an instant. Sure that he is winning against Kai, he laughs, seeing how miserable he is, noting that even the woman he loves is his. To his confusion, the Demon King laughs as well. When asked what is funny, Kai gives a serious face and states that he wasn't planning to do it but has been provoked. Just then, Johan realizes something and urgently tells his subordinates to fall back, knowing that something bad will happen. However, it is too late, as a massive explosion sends them off balance. Smoke and dust cover the battlefield. The enemy troops panic as the area is only filled with support troops and is weak. If the barrier breaks even for a moment, it will be over for them. Johan then leaves the area, entrusting the Demon King to the demon-slaying party. The man is surprised that the mage vanished into the smoke. The other magician tells him that it was just an illusion. The cautious Johan would never come to the front lines. The knights in the tower are blinded by what's happening and are wondering about the sound of the explosion. Mithil commands the knights to check on the explosion, assuring them that he will be fine alone. Alone, he contemplates the Demon King's order to destroy the holy relic and weaken the barrier. However, he is torn about doing so because it will force him to abandon his faith. He remembers when Johan showed his ruthless side to him, asking him to deploy more level booster test subjects, stating that he didn't care who would die in the process as long as his plan was set into motion. Gathering his resolve, he creates a fireball in his palm, ready to set things on fire. Meanwhile, in front of the west gate, the knights are frantically checking their forces. They are confused about what could have caused the explosion, wondering if the front line has been breached. As the dust settles, Melty launches a surprise attack, annihilating everyone in her wake. The knights frantically run for their safety, afraid of the demon. She then gives a signal to Walter and the others that it is safe to attack. The demon army charges toward the enemy lane. They thrust their swords and strike their enemies, overpowering them with their strength and precision. Just then, the demon subjugation party arrives, taking charge and leading their forces against the demon clan. Walter reminds Elsa that the barrier isn't broken. However, she refuses to listen to him and tells him to never let them interfere with her plan, wanting to blast them again. The man agrees and holds his position as the demon subjugation party attacks. The man tries to strike him using his weapon, and they try to neutralize each other's attacks. He tells him that the demons are the ones who betrayed them first, and now he will show them his revenge. However, Walter easily cuts him down with his sword, causing more trouble and fear among the knights. They frantically try to gather the remaining subjugation squad, wanting to stop Walter and Elsa. Meanwhile, Johan is running through the hallways, panicking as he goes. He can't believe that the Demon King was just a decoy. He is shocked to see Elsa up in the tower, figuring out that she is with the demon clan as well. Fear consumes him, knowing that the woman is bad news. She unsheathes her demonic sword, declaring that she won't hold back anymore. Johan is taken aback by the ominous sword, feeling its dangerous power. At this point, even the holy barrier will be penetrable. He tries to stop her and utilizes his holy arrow to attack her. To prevent him from getting to her, she casts her shadow arrow. Just then, a powerful attack neutralizes the holy arrow. Johan is surprised to see Kai, who was supposed to be in the front lines. The Demon King, in his icy demeanor, states that he has defeated all the forces from the front lines. Johan is stunned by how strong Kai is. The Demon King gives his signal to Elsa, who unleashes her power to break the barrier. Johan is stunned, watching as the shield breaks into pieces. On another part of the holy castle, Colette is looking out from a window, having heard the explosion. She is sure that it must be Kai. Meanwhile, on the battlefield, even Elsa is surprised that the Great Barrier really broke after just one strike using her cursed demon sword. Exhausted from using such great power, she drops her sword and collapses. The cursed sword drained her mana with just a single swing. In addition, she is under the effect of an MP drain weapon. Walter picks her up, worried about her after using such a dangerous move. Matteo helped them tremendously after burning the holy artifact, as it weakened the holy barrier. This made the shattering of the barrier possible under Elsa's attack. Johan is still in shock that the barrier was destroyed in just a blink of an eye. He trembles in fear, knowing that Kai will target him next. It seems the prophecy couldn't foresee their situation, and now he is lost on what to do. Meanwhile, Kai is fuming with anger just by thinking that his Colette is engaged to the man in front of him. He balls his fists, trying to calm himself down. He must prioritize Colette's safety and eyes a room where she must be hidden. He then casts a dark spell, Eye of the Underworld, and uses it to survey the enemy troops beyond the walls of the kingdom. He is also able to confirm that Colette isn't within the detection range. With this, he leaps from the battlefield toward the castle, determined to reach Colette before Johan does. The saint orders his knights to stop the Demon King from entering the castle. The Force tries to drain his mana by using a magical weapon that can steal it. Kai immediately feels the effect of the magical weapon on him and notes that it is something he should not underestimate. They then fire the cannon at him. Just in time, Grise arrives and provides assistance to the Demon King, destroying the MP drain weapons. He thanks her for the assist, making Johan more desperate. Seeing the man trying to get away to reach Colette first, Kai attacks him. Johan uses his holy barrier to protect himself and signals the knights to use the potion they have created. They drink the potion and immediately turn into huge and muscular soldiers whose only goal is to crush their enemies. Kai is surprised by the saint's move to use the level booster. However, this doesn't faze his forces at all. In fact, the knights below are being annihilated, and the knights from the front lines are being pushed back. In addition to this, the opponent is desperate too. He and Grise fight back to back, striking and annihilating the boosted soldiers one by one. Grise starts to feel the strain on her body. Her mana is being drained by the magical weapon, and it's taking a toll on her body. Despite this, she tells the Demon King to go ahead and rescue Colette since it is their mission. She points out that he has done enough and that they can handle themselves now. However, Kai refuses to leave her or anyone behind. He will not leave while everyone is still fighting and sacrificing their lives. He casts the Black Thunder spell and destroys the magical weapon. Even though they are at an advantage, he can't deny that they are in a tough situation up there. Determined to save Colette as soon as possible, he tries to focus on the fight and give his all. Suddenly, the ground trembles, and Kai is surprised to see Balrog of the Ogre tribe joining the battle to offer his support to the Demon King. In front of the West Gate, demons and humans of war clashed. As usual, Sasha was plowing through the enemies like they were nothing, but she suddenly noticed something odd nearby. Taking care of her share, she abruptly stops and tells Walter to take Elsa somewhere safe while she's still exhausted. She can handle things there, and they have to get the weapons on top of the wall. This is true, of course, but before he could follow, he warns her of imminent danger approaching. A knight leapt from high above and aimed straight for Sasha with a crazed expression. Running down the wall itself was unnatural movement for a human, but it becomes even more suspicious as he swings at the ground with immense strength. This makes her realize what they're against. Calling to her allies, she warns everyone about the drug-enhanced fighters. The humans reveled in their temporary power, not knowing what was to come. While wondering how many of the enemies were empowered like that, they hear an ear-piercing scream from nearby. A soldier had Melty by the neck, and she was just moments away from being strangled to death. Although Sasha tries to save her, the man was hell-bent on avenging his comrade by taking her life. Just then, an enormous hand held his shoulder gently. The sheer weight makes him turn, and there he sees an ogre looking down at him with his threatening eyes. Told to stop, the other hand holds his head, which is crushed like a bug in an instant. Melty coughs, trying hard to regain her breath from all the choking. The heavy voice calls to her, glad and relieved that they made it in time. She thanks them as well, and is surprised to see an entire group of ogres towering over her small body. They've come to return the gratitude and favor they owe. Meanwhile, at the battlefield above the wall, Kai faced a familiar face. He smiled, satisfied that they really came despite their differences. Balrog, the leader of the ogres, returned the human's smile. Even Grise is surprised, and asks what he's doing all the way there. Similarly, the empowered humans couldn't believe that the Demon King's army hosts such beings. Again, the ogre is asked why they came despite not acknowledging him. Balrog says it'd be tough to crush the capital without their help, and he still owes the Black Mage for saving his entire tribe from dying to Geese's poisoning attempt. Kai argues that he's still human, but debts don't take into account such labels. Grise is relieved they're there, as the mana-draining weapons are a huge disadvantage. Fortunately, the ogre tribe doesn't use magic. What they have is brute strength that is capable of destroying everything in their path. With his help, the vampire tells her lord to go ahead, promising to deal with the invasion themselves. He isn't so sure that he should, but there was no need to second-guess the beings, who consider war their speciality in life. Told to leave things to them and move forward, Kai disappears with his instant shadow step, right before Balrog finally addresses him as the Demon King. Grise smiles, but there was no time for that with the fight around them still raging. Inside the capital, the Black Mage reappeared in the dark, believing this is where Colette is located. Now, he just has to reach her before Johan does. Empowering his legs, he runs up the tower to save his beloved. The time is now, and he can finally keep his promise to her. He can only hope that he made it in time. He opens a window and peers inside, expecting to have a warm reunion with the love of his life. However, what greets her is her troubled expression, which turns bright as she sees him. The mage couldn't give the same reaction, seeing a familiar figure gripping her wrist tightly. Aries was there to greet his brother, still burning with the curse on his body. Kai questions what he's doing there. Seeing him hold her hand, he orders his brother to let go of Colette, and prepares to shoot a blast of dark magic. Just moments ago, the impenetrable light barrier shattered into pieces, leaving the capital vulnerable to its intruders. Colette was stunned, not expecting it to be possible. Nonetheless, her heart was filled with hope as she was certain that Kai was behind it. She had always believed that he would come to save her, one way or another. Her aides ask if Lord Kai refers to the Demon King they've been hearing about. Seeing the barrier break as well, they start to panic and rush out, telling her to stay there while they check on the situation outside. Colette is certain he'll come directly to her, and would rather be alone when he does. Before they could leave, the door swung open on its own, and they try to stop an intruder who entered without permission. A familiar voice says he's finally found the Saintess. She mistakes it and turns with excitement, but she's shocked to see Aries, ordering everyone in the way to leave immediately. Seeing them hesitate, he repeats himself and shows them his brave crest, leaving the aides no choice but to obey. Colette is surprised, not expecting him to show up instead of his brother. Unfortunately, the young man's expression alone showed ill intent, and he says he's just there to take back what's rightfully his. She's confused and doesn't know what he means, so he casually confirms that he's talking about her, of course. Her heart sinks as the grim realization dawns on her. Since she's being held captive, he takes her hand, claiming to be there to rescue her. The Saintess pulls her arm away, refusing to be taken. They face off, neither willing to back down from a fight. She was not an object to be taken, and she refused to be treated as such. While the unexpected stubbornness annoys him, Colette confirms that he became the hero, just as Kai told her he would. Recalling his mission to stop him and the Demon King's birth, she asks Aries if he's seen her brother. The young man snarls at the mention of his sibling, and says he stole his slave from right under him. To make things worse, he even killed their father, the divine warrior. His words strike Colette's heart, and she's reminded of the similar story Johan told her about. Despite hesitating at first, she regains her resolve and pronounces her belief in the person she loves. Unfortunately, Aries doesn't care about what she believes in, and is there to take her regardless. She questions why he's so intent on having her. A demonic grin spreads across his face, and he says he wants to see his brother's frustrated face when he does. Instead, frustration fills her. The two young men have always been at odds, but why was there so much hatred this time around? He argues that she's saying all that, without knowing what the older one did to him. Having had enough of it, he tries to take her forcibly this time, and she tries to fight back. Just then, Kai's cold voice laced with anger asks Aries why he's there. Seeing his hand around hers, he conjures an orb of concentrated black magic and orders him to let go. Colette sees him and is relieved to see him again. Having been expecting him all this time, the brave mage grinned. Seeing the ball of dark magic, the Saintess struggles and tries to have them talk first, but Kai was far beyond that point and was prepared to kill his brother once and for all. Scarlet hellfire shot out and was aimed right at its target. Understanding how dangerous it is, Aries acts fast and pulls Colette's hair. Despite wanting her for himself, he places her between him and the spell as a shield. She was going to get hit, so the black mage redirects his attack, which curves around her and just barely grazes his brother instead. It was obvious that the brave mage was ready to do anything. Cursing, he asks Kai if this is how he killed their father as well. He's shocked by the statement, and realized that he was being framed again. He tries to defend himself and clarify, but there was already an expression of disbelief in Colette's face. Thinking of his options, Aries grips her hair harder, forcing her to wince in pain. They tell him to stop, but he already had something in mind. Using his brave magic, he casts a teleportation ability, not unlike the Demon King's shadow step. A magic circle of light appeared beneath them, and while Kai reached out to save her, he failed to make it in time and they disappeared from the room. Colette is still reaching to him when they reappear in a dark corridor. Her brain hasn't caught up with what happened yet, and she's trying to figure out if they had just used teleportation magic. Enraged, she screams at Aries and demands to be taken back to Kai immediately. However, the brave mage just fell to the ground, at death's door because of the injuries from his brother's spell. He was their evil enemy at the end of it, but the Saintess couldn't help but heal a person in need. she hears footsteps from nearby, and a familiar voice echoed through the hall. Johan approached with open arms, glad to have his target served on a silver platter. As expected, the gods are on the side of the saint. Having Colette cornered, he believes that it's his victory against the Demon King. Johan was sure that the Demon King couldn't move, as long as Colette was in his grasp. Her biggest enemy has arrived with terrible timing, but he cackled and insists that it's nothing but divine will itself. Just then, Gallard entered the hall and was surprised to find the saint there. It was an odd situation, where the brave hero was injured and on the ground. Johan recognizes him as one of the knights, who was defeated by the Demon King. The vice-captain's expression grows dark, while the leader of the church explains that he found the hero on the brink of death. With a sly smile, he adds that the saintess seems to have lost her mind. Colette tries to call him out for lying, but the holy binding chains wrapped right and brought her to her knees. The old swordsman worries upon witnessing her screams, but Johan insists that she's afflicted by the Demon King's curse. Told to lend a hand and capture the saintess, Gallard walked towards his former student's beloved, who was still on the floor. Pleading with desperate eyes, she says she only wants to help Kai. Their gazes toward each other share an understanding. Meanwhile, Johan was already thinking about outmaneuvering the Pope and abducting the Saintess of Time. Suddenly, Gallard turned against him, drawing his sword and siding with Colette instead. In his lord's stead, he will kill the blasphemous saint where he stands. The man of God was not expecting it and received a direct hit. The distressed maiden is shocked and asks if she was hurt in any way. Addressed as the lady instead of the saintess, she finally recognizes her savior as Kai's sword instructor from the family. Confirming his identity, Gallard vows to protect her and deflects the ray of light that comes their way. Johan, still injured from being betrayed all of a sudden, propped himself up. With this, he promises to burn the traitor in the blazing flames of hell. It makes them shudder, but they stand their ground. If the saint had known, he would have given them a booster and let them die like geese. The revelation shocks them, and the vice-captain decides to punish him for betraying the Knight Order. Colette is still in the dark and struggles to understand the meaning of their words. That said, it means exactly what it sounds like, and the only option now is to kill the mastermind behind it all. He says this, but Johan laughs, knowing he hesitated in his attack just now, despite having the chance to kill him. Their foolish naivety is going to be the reason they'll lose. He conjures a blinding flash of light, and while it seems like a petty trick, it does its job and forces Gallard to shield his eyes. Johan makes use of the opening and shoots a holy arrow, but the seasoned warrior refuses to fall for the stalling tactic. He summons a holy wall to block the arrow, but the saint just chuckles at the idea of his attack being petty. To their surprise, his entire body faded away. Gallard reacts and tries to defend, but it's too late as Johan already shot another arrow from his blind spot. To him, they're all but simple-minded fools, who will inevitably fall under his wit and overwhelming power. Colette screamed as she watched the old man die instantly. Watching her shake in horror, the saint tries to pull her away, not wanting the Pope or Demon King to find out. He reached toward her shoulder, but as soon as he touched her, black magic emerged and clung to his body. Completely caught off guard, he finds his body being shocked by the dark spell, so much so that he nearly loses consciousness. Colette is surprised and doesn't understand what happened when a familiar small envelope slipped out from her robes. The letter from Kai burned, serving its purpose after protecting her. While her tears began to fall, Johan continued to smoke, and questions what just hit him. The holy chains aren't reacting, so it must have been magic from an outside source. To make sure she doesn't disobey again, he then calls to Princess Angel, who walks into the hall. Colette is in disbelief as her sister appeared, apologizing as she was taken hostage all of a sudden. Against his expectations, she turned to him with vengeful eyes. Despite the threat of the chains and killing the hostage, she chose to defy him. She was undeniably scared. Angel warns her against it, but she doesn't want anyone else to get hurt, so she grits her teeth and shoots light magic at him. Again caught off guard, Johan is hit directly, and the arrows of light pierce through his body, nearly taking his life in an instant. Just as she hit him, the chains flared around Colette's body and tightened to strap her to the ground. She was in indescribable pain. Meanwhile, the saint was still clinging to life despite it all. He cursed everything for standing in his way. Johan grit his teeth in frustration, hating that everyone was getting so arrogant. Light magic filled his body. As long as he clung to life, he can come back again and again by fully healing himself. It's too bad for them, who are all worthless against him. It was Angel's turn to protest, and question what he's doing to her beloved sister. Turning to her, he questions if she needs to be punished even more. The threat makes her lose her color and shake in fear. Johan insists that the saintess is out of her mind, and since she's resisting the chains so much, he'll just have to remove the pieces that revolt. An arrow of punishment appears on his palm as he considers removing her arm. Unable to take it anymore, Colette screams at Angel and tells her to run. She apologizes to Kai, believing they can't meet anymore. The princess tells the saint to stop, but his face was blank, and there was no way he'd listen to her shallow command. He mercilessly shoots the arrow at the helpless target, incurring screams throughout the room. Just then, a dark ball of black magic intercepted his spell and devoured it whole. There could only be one source of such magic. The orb stayed there for a while, churning and suddenly speeding up. Realizing what was about to happen, Johan instinctively moves his head and dodges just in time to avoid a fatal blow from his own holy arrow. It blasts his ear right off, and while he was screaming in pain, Kai appeared to carry Colette in his arms. Opening her eyes that were shut tight, having accepted death, she sees her beloved partner looking at her and apologizing for being late. Understanding that she has finally been rescued, the saintess fell into a mess of tears. She wriggled in his arms, wailing about waiting for him all this time. Since he had left her alone for so long, he hugs her tight, a silent promise not to do so again. He sets her down and uses dark heal to treat her injuries. Johan does the same to his ear, sick of the pointless farce. Despite his efforts, the Demon King has caught up to him. Right now, Kai had only one target, and aimed to silence him once and for all. Turning around, he sees the troubled saint, his dead instructor, his fallen brother, and lastly the princess herself. For such treason, he should be prepared to accept the consequences fully. He laughed at the warning, saying he was more than prepared. Everything he's done so far has been for this moment, and he wasn't going to lose without a fight. Several holy arrows are shot at Kai, but a single black hole is enough to absorb them and send the projectiles back to its caster. It's the same reflection magic from before, and the Demon King doesn't even have courtesy to face him while using it. Johan dodges, considering it a miracle that the 2 keys to the second playthrough are gathered. What's more, the weak little princess is still in his hands. He's determined to make it to the second playthrough and obtain everything. Using Angel as a hostage again, he demands to be given the saint without any funny business. Kai quietly calls to him, and with a cold gaze, asks if he really wants to reach his second life so badly. A terrifying chill runs through the saint's spine. In the Holy Library some time ago, Johan first read about the concept of a second life. At first, he doubted the reality of such a power, but the Pope reassured him that it did. It is the potential of humanity to surpass all classes, and something the Church seeks with all its might. Back then, he was ordered to devote his life to finding it and offer the power to the Church. He silently refused, but affirmed the order in front of the Holy Pope. Risking his life to find it was natural, but he's set on claiming it all for himself. Now, it was nearly in his grasp. Kai asks if he wants to reach that power so badly. The sudden question surprises him, and he doesn't know why the Demon King knows about his hidden goal. Since it's just them there was no need to play dumb and deny it. As he thought about it, the Black Mage conjured a spatial closet from thin air. The saint reacts instinctively and prepares to retaliate, but is told not to be so defensive. After all, what he wants is the holy bracelet that was now in his hand. Johan is confused, not understanding what he means for now. Kai explains that he came there with the bracelet, and he should know what it means. Refusing to believe it, he uses item appraisal to check for himself. It looks broken now, but there was no doubt about it. It's the Bracelet of Time, the only item that bridges one to the second playthrough. With this, his dearest wish could finally be granted. He plays it cool and laughs, pretending as if this isn't the treasure he seeks. Dying for it would be worth it, but admitting that so blatantly would put him at a disadvantage. To his surprise, Kai tosses the bracelet towards him, and he loses all his cool trying to catch it, even pushing Angel away and diving down to stop it from hitting the ground. As it gently lands on his soft palms, he smiles in relief and satisfaction. The princess was confused, and so was the saintess. Johan slowly stood up and scolded him loudly for endangering the priceless artifact. Not caring, Kai says it should be enough for them to call a truce. After all, he has only one goal in mind, and that's to live in peace with Colette. Any needless fatalities is something he'd like to avoid, so he wants to stop the fighting. It would be for the best not to make her sad, but he's willing to use force if necessary. Johan laughed at his foolishness. It was ridiculous to try and strike a deal, when he's already handed the bargaining chip over. The key to the second playthrough was in his hand. It was Angel's turn to raise her voice. He's been spouting nonsense all this time, so she questions what his goal is exactly. Chuckling, he decides to enlighten their empty brains. To him, the country, its people, and even the faith in the Holy Church did not matter a single bit. After all, his goal is to obtain everything through his second life, and they're all just stepping stones. This includes the Pope, the Saintess, and of course, the princess herself. Holding the little girl in his hand, he tells her that he no longer has any use for her. Turning to the Demon King, he considers the negotiations void and unnecessary, as the chaos was far too convenient for him to pass up. The truce is out of the question, and he'll escape while the war continues. He's certainly strong, but the saint can still get away by taking the princess hostage. What's more, the royal castle is like his own backyard. Just then, he hears sounds from behind, and turns to see a figure towering over him. His face loses its color, as holy knights gather around to arrest him for high treason. He was incredulous, and argues that the Demon King in front of them was the villain who's killed countless people. Just then, a silhouette from the army spoke, calling it a pity. Johan has no idea why, but the man standing above all others was there. His Majesty, the Holy King, had appeared after seeing everything. Kai had used a spell to broadcast what was happening to the entire kingdom, leaving the human side of the war stunned and speechless. The warriors outside continued their intense clash, with Grise telling the demons that they simply have to keep the humans away. She and Balrog have already settled the problem of MP drain and boosters, and all that's left to do was hold out for a little while longer. They cheered at the words of their leader, and although the humans were slowly being pushed back, they were not willing to back down so easily. Just then, everyone looked up in surprise. In the sky was a live screening of Johan, smiling as threatened to kill the princess. Humans questioned the window, and his reason for using the royal as a hostage. Meanwhile, the demons immediately understood that it must be part of their lord's plan. As expected, a demon eye watched everything unfold, second by second, and showed everyone the truth. The Hade's eye has the ability to project what it sees into the surrounding space. This is a better method, as it'll show Johan's evil deeds to the citizens faster, and the person who made this possible is none other than Matteo. The spy warns them of retaliation, as the saint was backed into a corner. The knights held his arms and pushed him to the ground, ready to take him away. While anger surged inside him, Colette moved fast, immediately trying to save Gallard from his injuries. One could not help but worry, but to their surprise, he was still alive and breathing. Kai gratefully gazed into her eyes, making her blush in embarrassment. He was glad, and she continued to treat his old instructor. Their calm is interrupted as the Holy King called, finding the entire situation difficult to understand. They stand to answer the king's questions for now. He wanted to know what was going on, and needed a fairly thorough explanation. Kai agrees to explain thoroughly, and decides to start with an apology. Surprisingly, the ruler suddenly says that he was lying, and takes a small envelope out from his robe. Colette recognizes it and is delighted that her letter reached. It's a secret message from the saint, passed on by a handmaiden. It is written there that Kai is the true hero, who prevented the Demon King's birth. However, he foolishly believed in Johan's words, endangering the kingdom and his daughter. The princess looks at him with thoughtful eyes, and the two are about to explain further, when a knight suddenly bursts in, announcing that the demon army has stopped its attack. This makes things clearer. The king's feelings toward the Demon King are complicated, and many humans were killed. From their perspective as a nation, this is still something they cannot forgive. About that, the soldier speaks again, and informs the ruler that the only casualties they have are within the knights. It was an offensive strong enough to destroy the barrier, but since Kai only aimed to rescue Colette, they came this far while keeping civilian casualties to a minimum. That said, the soldiers who used boosters all died. The king is shocked, not thinking that such a feat was possible. This only proves how strong the demon army is, but this is not a noble story of goodwill. The Lord is asked for his other objective. He wants nothing more but peace and a ceasefire. Knights lash out and question how he could say that, when he started the attack. The king silences them, desiring a ceasefire himself, and confirming that the demons are okay with this. Kai only has one selfish request, then asks where Johan went. The saint was gone and had escaped. He actually managed to run into the city, but is eventually cornered by the knights pursuing him. More preparations would have been desirable, but he now has no choice but to do it. He holds the Saintess of Time's bracelet, and prepares to go to the second playthrough. They watched as he stared into their faces, remembering them all to take revenge once he's reborn. The item is placed on his wrist, and he confidently waited for something to activate, but nothing happened for an awkward amount of time. He starts to panic, not understanding what was wrong. Trying to make sense of it, he wonders if it already worked. Kai appears to enlighten him, and says that the bracelet has already lost its power. The saint is in disbelief, certain of its validity after using item appraisal himself. However, the Demon King appraises falsification, allowing him to alter the description being shown. He did this preemptively as a bait, and removed the part showing that the effect had already been expended. Johan cursed in a fit of rage, but suddenly found himself pinned to the wall. Even without magic, the item is precious to Kai, so he was going to take it back. The saint tries to fight back, but couldn't go against the man's brutish strength. Still, he refused to give up, and instead downs a vial of booster fluid, deluding himself about going to the second playthrough. It was a last-ditch effort that worries those around him, and it seems he's gone insane enough to risk his life for level 800. Strength and power filled his veins. His drug was an improved and custom-made version that allows him to reach level 900 without any side effects. In other words, there was no one on Earth who could stop him. Johan overflowed with power, and his enemies could only stand back in fear of what he could do. With nothing left but rage inside him, he vows to kill the Demon King. Kai faced his threats uncaringly, but the saint continues, saying he'll take the Saintess of Time after and head to the second life with her. The Demon King observed. Colette has been placed under his holy chains of restraint, and they have to break that first. Thinking they must be underestimating him, as a mere specialist in healing and prophecy, Johan gets ready to show them why he's considered a high-class mage. His fist flashed with holy light, and a simple swing of his arm destroyed the wall of the nearby building. The others are surprised that he was still hiding such incredible power. While they cowered, Kai stood in the middle of the flying debris, and mockingly asks the empowered enemy if he's even aiming. The provocation works, and Johan lands a heavy punch right at the Demon King's side. This sends him flying through the already broken walls, and the beating he's been asking for has finally come. Colette screamed in worry, watching his body shoot through the sky several floors above the ground. Determined to make an example out of him, the saint jumps after him. He moves faster than the Lord, and he moves to a spot where he can greet the body. Cautious and knowing one hit won't do it, he follows up and kicks his enemy into the other direction. This time, Kai's body crashed into an empty tower, and his clothes were already tattered from the continuous attacks. Seeing his condition, the knights try to call for support from the magic course, while Colette stands by, praying for his safety. Johan deftly entered the hole, laughing at the so-called Demon King, who was now sitting limply and couldn't even lift his head. He cackled and questioned where all the bravado from earlier went, pulling his fist back for another attack. With a barrage of heavy strikes, he says he wouldn't have had to go through so much suffering if he had just given up sooner. Johan stops for a while, worried that he might be left with no body to use as an example. Regardless, the beating itself was pretty cathartic. To his surprise, the young man crawled out of the smoke and dust, still able to move despite it all. With a weak expression, Kai surrenders. The saint was skeptical, but the Demon King says he just has one final request to ask. He asks him to break the restraints on Colette, since it won't matter in the second playthrough anyway. Johan guffawed at the ridiculous request, and flatly rejected it without even hearing him out. To be more precise, the spell cannot be undone unless he dies, meaning he'll have to kill him first. That is, if he can. The tone in Kai's voice changes from the simple solution. To the holy man's surprise, he brushes the dirt off his clothes, perfectly fine aside from a few marks of soot on his body. The Demon King frankly explains that none of the attacks had an effect. Now, he knows he doesn't have to hold back anymore. Johan instinctively staggers back as this opponent reveals Tilfing. He recognizes it as the sword that broke the barrier, and thought it belonged to Elsa. Unfortunately, he is gravely mistaken about the Demon Blade's owner. An open hit slashes through his chest. It's naive how he thought he could win once he reached level 900, especially against someone who's level 999. His injuries are fatal and immense, but the saint works fast to heal himself and cling to life. Alas, he's as persistent as he always has been. To recognize his recovery abilities, Kai coats his hand in dark flames and shoots it at his enemy's body. Along with the flames, the holy light surrounds Johan's body, attempting to fight it. However, he'll find out soon enough just how dangerous the Demon King is. Since he's recovering, he's completely unable to fight back as the Black Mage casts a spell, to grant his wish and send him to the second life. The evil dead spell strikes from above and completely consumes his being. Black magic seeped out of every hole in his body, and the arrogant saint could do nothing but scream in absolute terror. As an undead, he could now enjoy the second playthrough to his heart's content. It burned, and the seething flames continued to rage under his skin. Soon enough, his face had shrunken and he was begging for help. Kai promises mercy in exchange for obedience and information. Since a hero would have been enough to fight a demon king, the boosters must have another purpose. Johan insists that he was just being used by the Pope and doesn't know the true purpose. He isn't able to say anything more, and the demon king just wonders what the Pope's involvement could be. Again, the burning man begs for him to put out the flames. Unfortunately, like his holy restraints, the flames will continue to blaze until he dies. To keep his promise and put an end to his suffering, Kai kicks him off the tower, making him plummet tens of meters to the ground. The demon king watched from above as Johan crashed right in the middle of knights, who immediately considered him an undead enemy. Disgusted by what he was, they didn't even listen to his pleas, and the fact that he might be the saint of the kingdom. Again, he can only helplessly scream as they unleash their power and purify his body with light magic. Just like that, the evil saint was no more. Watching from the hole in the building, the people noticed that someone had crashed into the ground. Just then, Kai returns to the king and knights with an unbothered expression and casually shares that he took Johan down. With that said, Colette runs to him, thanking the gods as she's so relieved that he's still safe. Getting a closer look at her, he notices something flashing on her neck. It's the remnants of the holy restraints, which he seems to have barely broken. It's been 5 long years, but finally, he can keep the promise he made to her. With a reassuring smile, he promises he's okay, and the two agree to finally be together from now on. He holds her hand and says he's never letting go ever again. The royal and his knights awkwardly watch their romantic moment, and the king has to cough to remind them of their presence. The human ruler says he's going to gather their people in the afternoon to announce a truce. As such, he'd like him, the demon king, to be there as well. The moment he agrees, the land suddenly shook violently. The holy knights surrounded their king, immediately on guard to protect him, but it was just Balrog, who peered in to check on the condition of his ally. The humans are shocked by the ogre's size and abrupt appearance, but the leader of the tribe just confirms that everything has been settled already. Since the enemies have lost all their will to fight, his business there was over and done with. Grise popped up as well, scolding him for scaring the humans with his arrival. Kai says she arrived just in time, and shares that they've agreed to a ceasefire and truce. This only means one thing. Looking behind him, she sees Colette, who lets out a huge smile while recognizing who she must be. The vampire is surprised but identifies the girl as well, and the two share a deep understanding, despite never having met in person before. The saintess thanks her for saving Kai, adding that it was all thanks to her help. Grise laughs proudly, insisting that it's only natural to help their demon king. Despite their shared and underlying attraction to Kai, she is glad the girl is safe. Balrog also chimes in, not expecting him to overpower a saint all by himself. The young man turns sheepish, not expecting it to be such a big deal anyway. As the two laughed, he notices something on Colette's hair, and sweetly takes it out right in front of Grise, who can't help but shudder at the painful sight. The demon king turns to her to talk about the truce, but she dismissively leaves without listening, saying she'll tell everyone about it. He notices something off, but can't put his finger on it, so he wonders if it's all just in his head. That said, Balrog also notices. Everyone moves through the city, and the citizens are informed of the ceasefire one by one. A lot of them are skeptical and unwilling to accept that they surrendered to demons. Unrest continued to grow, but everyone gathered as ordered and waited for the king's address. Standing above them, he called to his valiant knights and beloved subjects to declare the truce. The war between demons and humans ends that very moment. As expected, the civilians protested and screamed, indignant at the mere thought of forgiving the tribe who just attacked last night. With this, it was time for Kai to step up. He introduces himself as the Demon King, and the initial reaction is doubt, considering his human appearance. The young man confirms that he's 100% human, and the eldest of the Austen family. However, this only elicits greater anger as they've already heard of him before. There are 2 things he needs them to hear. First are his requirements for ending the war, and second is the truth behind Johan and the Holy Church. Most refuse to listen, but he tells his story nonetheless. Meanwhile, in the Holy Church's headquarters, the royal guards poured in bearing their arms. The Pope is alerted to the unwelcome visit, but he just takes the news with a calm demeanor. Met with silence, the church subject asks for his orders, and is surprisingly told to let everyone in. The man argues that they're armed, but his leader and head calmly insists that justice is on their side. Facing the Pope, the knights place the Holy Church under suspicion of manufacturing dangerous drugs. They address the head of the church, and prepare to fight in case of any retaliation. Met with nothing but silence, one man scolds them for their rudeness, and says they should at least show the holiness respect. Not minding him, the commander says they can make it easy, if he comes quietly. He then asks to know where Johan was. Not given an answer, he instead asks if the saint is dead. They confirm it, adding that he was secretly using knights as subjects to test a potent drug. Given its lethality, they could not overlook such atrocious actions. To their surprise, the Pope says it isn't a drug, but rather an effective level booster. His words let them know that he was involved. The old man of God calls Johan a pupil, brilliant enough to make him break out in a cold sweat. His abilities in class were second to none, so his death is a huge loss to the church. Back then, they talked about a crisis of ruin, and the saint wondered if he's talking about the revival of the Demon King. However, it was something far more terrifying than that. As the conversation stops there, Johan turned to leave, understanding that they won't be telling him what it is exactly, but the Pope knew. Having grown old, he had no choice but to entrust a cruel role unto the next generation. The Pope is advised to watch his next words. It sounds like he knew of the saint's evil deeds, and let them happen. The sheer thought of this makes them disgusted, but the man of God doubles down, and states that he was the one who planned and ordered it. It was all done for the sake of justice. He sacrificed so many lives, all for the sake of his own justice. Weighing those sacrificed and those saved, the church head asks if it is not a worthy exchange. There are lives being saved in places that the knights don't even know about, so why would they arrest him, lower the morale of the masses, and stand idly while they are killed? He asks if this is the job of such venerable warriors. With the soldier slapped by the morally questioning words, a firm hand rests on his shoulder. Gallard, now healed up, stepped forward to speak for his men. He sternly asks if the holiness is hiding something from them after all. The Pope is quiet, knowing this man is different. From now on, they'll have to prove their righteousness in the court of law. The challenge makes them face off for a long and silent time, but the head of the church suddenly orders his aide to do something. He's surprised and tries to protest, but the old man reassures him of the decision. Since his class is unknown, Gallard warns his men to be on guard. Although he doesn't want to, the follower obeys and starts an incantation, while the Pope quietly sits back down. In that instant, a huge barrier or light surged from within him. The knights tried to stop the chant, recognizing the danger, but even the vice-captain can't push past the prepared barrier's strength. It was useless and too late. With another wave of his hand, the Pope is engulfed in a beam of holy light, blinding and strong enough to push the others back. To their surprise, they see His Holiness' body, burning and shriveling up in the blazing light of purity. Once the spell ended, only a sunken man, barely alive, was left. Gallard questioned what happened to him, and is told that he's offered his being up for the sake of righteousness. The horrifying conclusion is confirmed when they see the Pope's corpse fall to the ground, limp, crisp, and devoid of life. They couldn't believe it at first, but it was clear that he passed away in front of them. Back in the kingdom, Kai reunited with his companions, who have been waiting for him all this time. He thanks everyone, as all their help allowed him to save his beloved. The conflict between humans and demons won't be solved overnight, but this was a huge step. For now, they're told to go back to their hometowns and get some rest. He turns to Grise, and genuinely thanks her for all she's done. The vampire would like to express her gratitude as well, as the territory stolen by Elsa has finally settled down in peace. Making a truce with humans wasn't even within her expectations of the outcome. For making the impossible happen, she thanks him on behalf of all the demons. They conquered the capital together, hand in hand. What's left now was to grab some drinks, and perhaps a hefty reward as well. Not really caring for such celebrations, Kai says he's going to help with the town reconstruction. Colette smiles brightly, agreeing to come and join him. Just then, the king called to the Demon King, needing to talk about something. He sent soldiers to deal with the Holy Church, but has lost contact with them ever since. Knowing something was up, the Black Mage agrees to check the situation out for now. However, they fail to notice a figure just outside the window. A familiar person crashed through, and dashed right behind the royal ruler. It was Aries, all healed up and looking for vengeance. They react belatedly, and the brave warrior has already struck the king across his back. The cut is deep, and he nearly loses his life in an instant. Meanwhile, everyone there looked on in horror, unable to comprehend the unexpected return of Kai's evil brother. The king falls from the lethal blow, and while the civilians scream in terror, the knights finally move to try and save their king. Kai reacts first and shoots streaks of hellfire, which nearly killed Aries hours ago. To his surprise, the brave mage blocks it with barely any effort. He smiled smugly, showing that he's completely unscathed. The knights are told to protect the king and leave things to the demon king, so they retrieve their ruler as ordered. Meanwhile, the young man questions how his brother could be there, when he was supposed to be locked up earlier. What's more, he looks much stronger than before, and even completely blocked a high-level dark spell. It's true that his class sets him above the rest, but his level and broken holy sword should deter him from being this powerful. It's like he's a different person. Just then, Aries points his blade at him, and asks if he's Kai. The calm expression looked unnatural to him, but the Demon King already had a chilling idea. Colette called to him, questioning why the hero was doing this. Upon hearing the boy's name mentioned, he admits that he did do something sinful, and reveals his true identity as Clemens. The entire room froze in shock as this was the Pope's name. Nodding, he reaffirms the truth that he's taken over the hero's body. After all, youth is much more convenient, and even his class is exceptional. In disbelief, they question what happened to Aries, but even the Pope has no idea what happened to the young man's consciousness after he took over. The room was silent, that is until the king spoke through his fatal injuries, wondering why the head of the church would do such a thing. He returns the question, and asks why the royal would turn his soldiers on him. With that, he can't help but be disappointed. The air of arrogance was insulting, but Clemens says they're failing to understand something. The one who truly cares for the people and wishes for peace is none other than the Holy Church, meaning his choices are the only justice. The statement was enraging, especially as he sacrificed people while testing his drugs. Unable to control himself, the king's condition deteriorated rapidly, and although the saintess tried her best to heal him through it, her face grew grim in hopelessness. For some reason, the healing magic wasn't working, and the wound on his back remained open. It was a recovery blocking spell. Since he was so intent on defying him, the Pope decides to settle things. The knights form a wall to protect their dying king. Ready to face them, Clemens smiles and takes on a fighting position, much more seasoned than Aries ever showed. They shudder at the sight, well aware that they can't block that much magic power alone. However, they're prepared to die for their king, and stand their ground for the kingdom. Fortunately, they didn't have to sacrifice themselves as Kai instantly appeared in front of the Pope. Clemens was unbothered by the magic circle on his face, and asks if he thinks he can beat him. The spell is unleashed and hits directly, even empowered while the black magic was still firing. His massive display reassures the humans of their victory, but the Pope just stood there, smiling despite having half of his face blasted away. He can't help but chuckle in understanding. They're horrified, not knowing how he survived that attack. Clemens feels the power of the second playthrough, confirming it isn't something a human should possess. His face recovers instantly with the brave mage's ability, auto heal, also mitigating the drug's effects. If it's the same as Johan and he's level 900, this was going to be a tough battle. The Pope says he would understand his anger against his real brother, but Kai interjects, saying he finds everything rather pitiful instead, especially the Pope. As Clemens thought, he still doesn't understand. To show that the once frail body was now something different, he drives his sword into the floor. Aries' stolen brave hero class has been combined with his own, the Arbiter. Kai fell into the collapsed floor, and the others could do nothing but watch as he plummeted. The two drop into the castle's deep basement, where Clemens intends to test the power of level 999. The Demon King panics upon realizing that they're the same level. The castle starts to crumble. Kai is still standing and not moving at all amidst this, while Colette panics and wants to help him. The knight stops her, saying she will get hurt if she goes down. The princess shouts for reinforcements, which bothers Colette, and she prays for Kai's safety. Meanwhile, in the castle's underground, Kai is standing face to face with Aries. He contemplates that the level booster Johan used was a better version since it is level 999. Aries unsheathes his sword, and he figures out that it isn't a holy sword. Aries tells him that he should show him what he can do. He is surprised to see that his brother can make his sword disappear and asks what he is really after. Aries states that he has no intention of settling things peacefully and wants his brother to attack him. Seeing his brother confused, he admits that he will use Colette, and his ultimate goal is the Saint of Time. Angered, Kai attacks him, but he swiftly blocks his power. The Black Mage declares that he will now show his brother his real power. He activates his auto magic and uses Thunder, Shadow Wall, and Hellfire all at the same time. He charges toward his younger brother, trying to overwhelm him. However, Aries doesn't seem to be struggling and in fact seems to be enjoying how his brother is showing him his power. He seamlessly dodges every spell using the level 999 booster. He admits that it has powerful side effects that remain. A normal person would die, and he is also using the hero's skill to counteract them. With this, he is instantly healing the continuous damage from the level booster and nullifying the side effects. He pointedly looks at the Black Mage, accusing him of looking down on him by using magic from the Black Magician class. He tells him that this isn't what he wants to see. He wants the power of the second playthrough. Since the Pope is pursuing power for some goal, he wants to see his older brother's second playthrough class. His hidden class, Dark Star, lets him use all dark magic, and he can use the evil point system. With this, he can definitely feel the class's potential. He held off on mastering it since it was better to fight with magic he was used to, but right now he has no choice. He quickly pulls up his system and activates something. Meanwhile, Aries provokes him some more and wields his sword of sacrifice, Bryanak. The bright sword shines, illuminating everything in its path. With conviction, he declares that the real fight is about to start. He activates a spell, and a bright halo of light flashes across the whole castle. Colette insists that she will help Kai and will get everyone from the Demon Lord's army, pointing out that if they all fight Aries together, they will be able to stop him. Just then, the knight's chest constricts, and every one of them starts to fall down one by one until Colette is the only one standing. However, moments later, she starts to feel her strength being drained from her and begins to tremble. As she runs out of breath, she still thinks of Kai, wanting to be by his side. Back in the main fight, Aries states that those sinners who doubt him shall atone for their sins by becoming part of his sword of sacrifice. The sword glows intensely as it continues to drain the life force of humans inside the castle as its main power source. It turns out that the sword's power is to strike down the evil its owner deems fit. Kai is stunned by the amount of energy the sword is releasing, realizing that it is much more powerful than his younger brother's previous holy sword. He is confused by the power and contemplates bringing a mirror to see its true nature. Aries finds this insulting and points out that he should try to learn more about his opponent, especially about the room they are in. Just then, a gigantic and mysterious monster opens its glowing eyes, directly looking at Kai.